Uh, I didn't. So one thing I want to go over real quick is I didn't put up the last episode on my YouTube channel yet. Sort of a lost episode thing where it was a short episode. We were doing a lot of like administrative crap, so I might put it up at some point.
I
But
think we should.
yeah, I at some point I will. This last week has been very hectic as well for me as I'm setting up all these new games and other things. But anyway, let's get into the game. So, who wants to do our special recap this week?
Suppose I can give it a shot.
Go for it.
All right, let me see if I can remember I always have trouble remembering the beginning of last session. I'm pretty sure that we started with us having taken out the Locust and uh, kind of the aftermath of all that. We had freed Tuck, I believe his name was,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were discussing kind of what the ramifications of this obelisk were, whether we should use it or not, or what was going to possibly happen to these souls, and weren't really successful in figuring anything out. So we opted to go back to the glade and rest, and also talk with the dryad, who might have a bit more experience with the mechanics of souls and whatnot. And as it would turn out, we found out that the obelisk, of course, being of dwarven invention, kind of follows the same principles as kind of this. There are two ways to kind of apply their spirit runecraft stuff, where if you are, kind of the more what the Locust was focused on was spending these souls, uh, offering them for their uh, whatever power uh, they would grant to be used for opening the portal in this case. But additionally, as the more good aligned dwarves tend to do, you can ask for permission from these souls, and they can grant a measure of their power willingly and not be consigned to oblivion. So we decided that this might be the more palatable option, and we also kind of got a read on Xeriacs' motives, who he explained that he would be staying on the island, uh, taking this chance to mature in a controlled environment and, rule over the townsfolk and his uh, soon to be flourishing kobold community, although being just 3 right now, and expressed an interest in getting us off the island, as we had desired, so that he could not have to see us again, and kind of use that to our advantage, conscripting his services for flight across the island, back to the obelisk, where we would undo the Locust's alterations and free the souls. And one soul was staying behind to kind of we talked with him, and he explained that he was the kind of guardian, I would say, of this obelisk, something along those lines.
So,
That was his
Watcher,
role,
Guardian,
right?
something like that.
Watcher, kind of overseeing the operations, and he was supposed to, someone was supposed to take his shift, but it never really happened. And then the Locusts hijacked it, and things went awry. But he agreed to help us, and we flew over to the portal, where we were surprised to learn that both Tut and Snout would be staying behind. Cut or Snout interested in the treasure, and Tut, um, I suppose just sticking with his bodyguard.
It's
And
more like, I think it was more like Tut was interested in the treasure and Snout was also interested in the treasure.
yeah, fair. So the others went through the portal and ended up in a kind of a mirror's reflection of the island, only with much more muted colors, spirits of dwarves, and a distinct lack of moisture. And we had just come back to the mirror world's obelisk when the session had ended. I think that's everything.
Yeah, and when you guys came to the obelisk, or traveled from the dwarven settlement to the obelisk, it felt as if you had a time skip, like a physical time skip, where
Yeah.
um, you felt like you had walked for a couple of hours, but you were not conscious for any of it. But even so, Vallo was writing in his journal and seemed to have finished his writing, just none of it being remembered, strangely enough. And as you guys had reached the obelisk, it was still standing, even though Snout had destroyed it in the other non mirror dimension. And though it was inert, you guys had looked past it towards the lake and realized that it wasn't really a lake here, more of a depression where a lake would be. And as you guys are standing there, looking out over this empty lake, you see the little wisps of mist kind of filling it in, but it's only like it's light and it's definitely not water. You're not even sure if it is mist, even, as you haven't really seen any other evidence of water in its purest sense. So, whatever is there is just sort of perhaps this strange reflection of water, but not really it at all. And certainly seems like you could easily walk through it, as it seems like just some sort of light fog. So it's just
Um,
you four.
I'll be back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh man, this place is freaking me out. First, the spirits. Not that wasn't much of a surprise. Like, I guess we expected that, given the context, but the lack of water is concerning. Like, look at that lake. No water. Just fog.
Maybe you should try to step into it and see if it's invisible water.
Kevak, how's your water making skill? Is it still functional?
If we can get some rest in here, I'll be able to make water, but at the moment, there is no water.
We should be good for today as long as our water skins aren't empty. Miklo checks his water skin, see how it is.
Well, your water skin seems to be full.
That's a relief. Okay.
I
Would
want to
be-
go touch the lake of fog. I want to touch
Okay.
the fog.
As you step over to the lake of fog, it's, again, not too thick. You can see about 100 or 200 feet ahead of you in it. And it's sort of just like walking down into sediment that has just been deposited there. Just nothing but
It's
like
just
light mist.
fog. Do you think the ocean's like this too?
There's a good chance of it.
I mean, how long did it take that ship to get here? Like just a day and a night?
Just about a day, I would say.
So I'd say it'd only take us like 2 or 3 days of walking to get to the mainland.
Pretty much, yeah.
Neldu or Vallo, roll a nature check.
Oh boy.
It's simple enough as you're thinking about it a little bit and just kind of waiting to see what you guys are going to do. You were also on that ship, and that ship was moving at all times. You guys have to rest. So it may take double whatever extra time that walking would be, so. A little bit more time than you might think.
I mean, our main goal in going here was to get off the island, so walking across an empty ocean may be a... Wait. Didn't we originally come here with hopes of, like, finding that ship that crashed that the egg of Xeriacs may have been riding on?
And treasure, I think that was the original goal.
Didn't that sink? Like, do we know if it sank at this island, or... I think it did.
But where are you going to find it?
That's fair.
We would have to get exceptionally lucky.
If we really wanted to look for it, if it's in the ocean, we would have to go all the way around the island. Which would be quite time consuming.
Well, I've said it before, and I think I want to just reiterate it. I think we should, at the very least, check out the grove while we're still here. Maybe consider the town, and see what they're like in this weird world.
That's a good idea. It's not like we don't have time.
Yeah, and this way we'll at least be heading roughly in the direction we came from. Well, I mean, definitely the direction we came from. So we'll know if we more or less follow our original path, which might take a little doing. We'll find land eventually. Like land that is supposed to be land, not land that is currently land that was normally underwater, if you understand.
I think I follow
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Like, just keep going in
Terribly
that
sorry
direction.
about that.
That's fine.
I hope I haven't missed anything substantial.
Just discussions on where you're going.
And
Miklo is
fog
just-
walking.
Yeah. Vallo had tested out the non-water lake, and it's filled with some fog, but he just stepped into it and nothing happened.
Just fog. Nothing wrong. I'm going to step out of the fog.
Well, I must say I'm surprised. I was, maybe speculating that there might not be any ocean around us and we could walk out, but I wasn't really serious about it.
You weren't. What else would we do?
Oh, that's right. Do you mind if we, check out the obelisk while we're here?
Good idea.
I mean, it's right over there.
Gadget's gonna inspect this, mirror obelisk. And, see if there's anything different about it, or if it's pretty much a recreation of what we saw.
It seems like it's pretty much a recreation. It doesn't have the bastardization that Locust did to it. It seems to be in the original form of Dwarvish. Though you see no magic, you see none of the lines glowing that you would expect. It seems like here it's just stone.
Seems like this one's little more than a decoration.
Wait, as in, it is a decoration or can do more than a decoration?
Oh no, I mean it's just a big rock for our purposes.
Ah. Yeah, we're not gonna look at that anywhere. Just leave it be.
Of course, we're not
If
gonna.
you if you all don't mind, if it's not too much out of the way, I was wondering about that mining operation we came across.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that. Do you wanna go there?
Possibly, it's. I know it's on the other side of the island and we're closer to the shore
Uh,
right here.
but we're gonna go the way we came though, so it's basically on the way.
Yeah, I think I remember one of those villagers saying that the beach we landed at is pretty much one of the only beaches on this island, so we kind of have to go the way
Right.
we came.
Ooh, otherwise we could make a big tumble.
Yeah, and besides, I'm kind of curious what we'd see there at the mines. Hopefully not any ghost centipedes. Uh,
Preferably not. It'd
that
be
would...
interesting to see what
Oh,
it's like
why did I
without
have to
all
say
the
that?
danger.
Well, we were gonna check the grove out first, I thought.
Grove's on the way
Oh,
first, and
good
then
point.
the mines, and then the village, and then the beach. Does that sound right?
Sounds like a good order of operations.
All right, so you guys, I assume, are intending to go to the grove first.
Yep.
And as you start heading out towards that direction, you get that funny feeling again. As you set your intentions on that destination, your minds seem to skip a beat almost, and you're standing outside where there should be a waterfall, but aren't, or isn't rather. You all feel like you've walked for another hour or two. You're all tired, but you don't remember a thing.
Okay,
Oh, it
this is
happened
getting
again.
weird.
It happened again.
Yeah.
Happened
You're all
again.
feeling that too, then? I thought I might have spaced out the first time.
Yeah, I would have thought that if it not for my journal writings. Um, yeah, I think that's going to be a regular thing. Is that what causes that? Is that like when we like start traveling, or is it like, hey, we is it like a thought thing? Like if we think, hey, we're going here, does that? I don't know. This is like very confusing.
Well, we were
Something
thinking
worth
about
considering.
the grove and the runes just a few moments ago, I think. But we didn't go there immediately.
Hmm.
Maybe when we like set our minds, like, hey, we're going now. That caused it.
Seems like
I
our
think you're
bodies
right.
still take the toll, though. So I wouldn't want to experiment, thinking about Cervec, for example.
Too late.
What if I started thinking about the moon? Yeah, I'm gonna stop that thought.
Well, if our bodies are getting tired, that means they're probably going to be hungry as well if we try to go someplace very far away.
Wait, I'm gonna look up and do I see any celestial bodies like stars, the moon?
No, it's actually just limitless clouds up there.
Just
Swirling, kind
clouds.
of.
It looks like it's going to storm, but there's no water anywhere. So strange.
So,
I think at
you-
least one of us would be able to tell if it was actual weather.
nevertheless, you guys are standing outside of what should be the waterfall. But there is none, of course, since there's no water here, it seems.
Right.
And from here, you can actually clearly see the entrance to the grove, where before it was hidden. I assume you'll be walking up into it.
Yep. I wanna go
Yeah.
inside.
All right. So you guys head up the stones and rocks, and you sort of have this idea that maybe you'll jump forward again, but strangely you don't. You don't skip anything. You're walking up there, you're conscious of it. And you step into what was the grove, but now seems to be taking the same toll as everything else in this land is. Desiccated, dry, but somehow still there, still in some form of life.
Okay, this is weird. This is very weird.
And you step in here and you see like the little bits of tree sort of almost like falling away like fresh, like really thin and fresh bread off of the trees, like ashes almost, as like they just deteriorate into like fine dust almost. Every so often. It doesn't seem like a fast process.
And I take it the big inverted tree is no better off.
It's about the same, and there's no light that comes through the ceiling here. But it
Like
seems
we've
to be...
gone out of bounds and now we're looking at all the untextured shit with no collision.
The back room.
Missing source engine.
Is this a challenge run?
Sorry.
Is there any magic here? Still like what we had felt before with the quick sleeping thing?
As you are like thinking about that, you don't feel it the same. It doesn't feel like this place is affected by whatever magic the druids had kept active. And speaking of, it doesn't seem like there's any reflection of anybody here, save for a rustling in the bushes in the far corner.
Hello?
Is there somebody here?
Is someone there?
A dark, tall, lanky figure looms up over the bushes and steps out upon into the clearing. A foolish pack of mortals has come upon my lair. What come you for? To make an offering?
We come in peace. We swear that we will not harm this grove or anyone in it unless we are forced to defend ourselves.
Sounds awfully familiar.
That's what I'm going for. It might work.
You come with nary but peace. How foolish, foolish you. Here, we demand only your worship, your servitude, from now to the rest of your days.
No.
You belong to us.
No.
No. Do you know who you're speaking to?
No, because you have not introduced yourselves yet. By the way, I am Miklo.
We are the Demiurge. We are the first of the fourth way seekers. Okay, the order of life and death itself.
I'm
Prostrate
sorry. I'm going
yourself.
to stop you. What? Fourth?
The figure seems to be more and more unsteady as time goes on. But they seem to almost try to start shifting to puff their chest up triumphantly.
Well, we already dealt with something with a god complex on the last island.
And
I don't think we want to do it again. If you can take your servitude nonsense and shove it.
Before the figure responds, it practically collapses over, leaving its shadow behind. As it stands up again, it's apparent that it's very quite short. It must have been standing on its own shadow somehow to get its extra height in.
And if you'd like, you can Sorry, if you'd like, you can describe your character then.
Oh,
Okay. Short midget-like creature voice turns almost shrill, and it's obvious that how they were speaking before was just an attempt at an impression. As they sail up again, their hood fell down, and it seems the face of a talking mushroom stares down back at all of you.
Kevak, did
Are you bloody joking?
Don't look at
God.
me.
you're the
God
druid?
complex. She,
What is this thing, Corvus? Does
You
Kevak
fool.
have any idea?
Yeah, you roll a nature check.
Sorry, continue.
you fool. I am a god. She.
As he says that, you do recognize this as a Leshy, a plant creature who come in a
Nice.
variety of forms and are like these sort of strange creations of magic and, well, plants. Not exactly druidic, just sentience, really.
I think I've heard of these things before. They're just plant creatures.
Wait, so he's not a
Right,
god?
well, I'm not about to get talked down to by a fungus. And I don't think we have much else pressing us here anyway.
Wait, who are you exactly? Like, can we do a proper introduction? Cause
We are the Demiurge, master of life and death, the first of the four seekers. Ishi. And who are you to talk down to me?
sorry, I'm not trying to talk down to you. It's just that, well, I kind of have to look down and. Wait, we?
Well, stop that.
What do you mean we? Are there more?
No, we are the only one here. We and our shadow here.
Your shadow.
Our shadow. It's obvious as the little guys moving around that their shadow doesn't exactly follow them.
I wonder if it's like the Locust. Maybe it's possessed.
Sure bloody hope not. It's hard enough work the first time.
Yeah, the Locust. What kind of name is that? There's only room for one evil overlord on this island.
You don't say.
Wait, but what if there were 2 islands? Would there be enough room, like each evil overlord per island?
No,
I
we own both
prefer
islands.
zero
Ishi.
overlords.
Well, I mean, we killed the Locust, and he was trying to be an overlord.
I mean, okay, guys, given that he hasn't attacked us, I think this feels like something Tut would play, like some kind of con.
No, stop. Worship us.
Should we just go?
Give us your praise.
Excuse me, Mr. Lord Demiurge, first of the fourth Wayseekers, and actual god. Well, what can you tell us about this place?
This cave. What offer you to seek of our knowledge?
We have water.
Oh, well, this
Kind of.
place, we just holed up in it after we got here. Not sure what's going on.
Got
Well,
here?
of course we know what's going on. We are omnipotent, but such matters, such trifles are below us.
Oh, so where did you come from?
Wait,
Another plane, you could say. Yes, we
Fascinating.
are beyond otherworldly, beyond your comprehension.
wait. Are you omnipresent?
Omnipresent, omniscient, all of it.
We come from another plane too. That means that we have a lot in common.
If you're omnipotent, what's my name?
Stinky face.
Oh, he's got you
That
there.
is your name now.
Can't believe he got it right. Maybe he's onto something.
Do we?
Ooh, I want to ask a question. What color are my socks?
You don't wear any.
Oh my god! Oh wait. Oh, as you can kind of see. Oh.
Miklo looks to
sawed
his
off.
friends and kind of whispers to them, "You guys be nice. This could be an opportunity to learn something useful."
Yes, but he wants you to worship him.
So just maybe play along a little bit. It's probably harmless. I don't think he can hurt us in any way.
Iegs, one other thing I can mention for you is that you do remember seeing a nice little shipwreck on the coast.
Huh.
Kevak just kind of shuffles back towards the entrance awkwardly.
Right, so I don't know what we're gonna accomplish here. You can keep this grove and whatever else is keeping you here.
Well, where is it? My offering. Our offering. The offering that you've promised.
I have
Well, we
I have an
have
offering
a
for you.
great treasure, an excellent treasure.
the treasure of friendship.
Oh, how did you know I was going to say that?
Because you and I have a lot in common and we're friends already.
Oh, that means a lot, you know.
Of course.
Oh, hold
Okay,
on.
give
I
it-
got something a bit more tangible here for you. He's gonna pretend to reach into his bag and then just pull out his own middle finger. Anything else you need from us?
Gadget?
What? I've had enough of dealing with pretentious bastards.
I don't think he knows what that means.
Well, all the better for us if he doesn't. It got the point across for me.
Okay.
They probably need our help.
Impudent pawn, you'll surely pay for this.
I
I'm
am going
quivering.
to reach into my pocket, cast prestidigitation, and make just like a tiny, shiny trinket. And say, is this a good offering?
No, we can make that ourselves. The Demiurge casts prestidigitation and also does the same thing.
Beautiful.
Well, since we're going around the table. He also casts prestidigitation.
You also realize you're very thirsty.
Ah, shit.
Kevak does the exact same thing.
Miklo. Got nothing.
Because that's the trick where you, like, pretend to pull off a thing, eh?
Miklo appears to
Gadget's
be the
gonna
only
use
one who can't do that.
Gadget's gonna use his mage hand to take the little prestidigitation object from his own hand and place it into Miklo's.
Miklo shrugs and holds it out to the mushroom dude.
I had a rather optimistic theory that maybe our bodies would be in a sort of stasis, but I'm starting to feel a little thirsty myself. And that looks like it might be a problem in this world.
Well, we are a god of life and death. Worship us, and we will make sure you live for all eternity, no matter what.
Miklo, Okay,
Take
so
the
about
tail
how
and piss
tall?
off. We got our own dispenser here, and he kind of just pats Kevak on the hip.
About how tall is the Demiurge, the first of the four way seekers?
About 2 feet.
Okay.
Oh,
So Miklo
You're shorter
crouched.
than me.
Miklo
I love this
crouches
character.
just
This
a little
is
bit,
great.
like bends his knees a bit, you
This
know,
thing is adorable, by the
and
way.
kind of
Great
like
art.
puts his elbows on his knees and says, "So, how long have you been here? Are you without water? Are you alone?"
We are never alone. We have our armies of minions, evil minions with us, always, forever. And our shadow, too.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well,
But we've been here for about 2 days, perhaps.
you must be terribly thirsty.
Wait, 2 days? How did you get here?
Uh, we came for looking for more minions, of course, with a fell ritual that transcends time and space itself.
yeah, you're
Also,
trapped
we
here
walk-
just like us.
How unfortunate that omniscient knowledge didn't give you the right recipe for that ritual.
No, it did. We intended to come here, for sure.
Did you mess up a
It-
teleportation spell?
Everything is here just as we thought it would be. This island, this grove, the shipwreck on the coast.
Maybe you should,
Wait, shipwreck on the coast?
Shipwreck on the coast.
hold on. Shipwreck on the
think
coast?
I have a deal for you. Oh great. Wait, Seeker. We'll give you some water if you can guide us to the shipwreck.
We need no
Consider
water.
it our offering.
We have all we need in the soil itself. We are eternal. For as long as this earth continues to exist, we shall too. But yes, we do not need to drink.
You don't need to drink.
Of course,
Oh,
your
what a
eternal
shame.
servitude is still on the table.
Ah, well, what a shame. He doesn't need to drink. So I guess we really have nothing to offer this thing, and no reason to take him with us. Gadget is like kind of shuffling back.
I mean, it could be kind of fun. Why don't you just come with us for fun? Anyways.
If you tagged along, your minions could get some rest, and they wouldn't have to work quite as hard, and maybe you could find a way back home, like
Well,
we're trying to do.
Because you're my minions.
Yeah, I was
too.
about to say, maybe we could be your minions.
We're not
I'll
going to be
give me rest
anybody's.
for a little bit.
We're not anybody's minions.
Look, we faked it like twice. So we're good.
Can we just leave?
I'm with Kevak on this one.
He might follow at a distance.
Oh no, he's getting closer.
Anyways, we have places to go. It was very nice to meet you. What was your name?
We are the Demiurge, the first of the fourth way seekers.
Demiurge.
Demi.
Demi. I've never seen anyone so small. Anyways,
The Demiurge.
it was nice to meet you, Demi. But we've got to go.
That makes one of us.
Well, we can't force you. If you would rather be lonely, I guess that's your call.
Hey, wait up, worship us. Worship us.
Worship yourself.
No, we worship the second way seekers, and I suppose, the first, although we know much less about them. Oh, we're not going to worship you.
Well, where do you think you're going then? I can't let my new minions go off and get themselves killed on their own.
I mean, you could follow us.
Don't say that.
We both thought the same thing.
He's kind of amusing. It's like Xeriacs, but he can't really hurt us?
I feel bad for him. He's so weak and helpless.
And I thought we had it bad with Tot.
Alright, so
Let him do what he wants, I guess. We've got an island to get off of.
you guys do exit the waterfall here, and on the outside, it's now time to decide where you're going next.
The Demiurge joined your party without your consent.
That basically happened.
No, very much with my consent.
Out of character, I love this character.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Great.
Hey Demi, has anyone ever told you smell like ricotta?
Only the finest ricotta, of course.
What's ricotta?
It's a kind of cheese. The
We're omnipotent. We smell like all cheeses at once.
Then you smell pretty bad then.
Our very mere presence can strike fear into any creature.
Let's go to the mines.
I'm in agreement.
Kevak just sighs.
Maybe if we take enough sharp turns, he'll lose us.
No, I'm enjoying this.
I guess we should probably
Let
drink
someone
up a
else.
little bit, though, so that we don't fall over
Oh,
in the middle
right.
of travel.
We're gonna take immediate consequences. I forgot about that
Oh
bit.
right, yes,
No.
hydration.
En route picnics.
Actually,
So,
shouldn't we be resting?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should
It's
just
been a
rest
while.
in the grove for a bit.
I'm leaning. Yeah, maybe.
Well, we came from all the way south, all the way up here. That's a day's journey by itself, is it not?
Oh my goodness.
So if our bodies are still getting tired from this, isn't it appropriate time to stop?
That's right. You can't argue with that.
Been hard to keep track of, but I. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I feel so confused.
Right, so you guys can take the rest in the grove. Doing the here, I can put you back on there just so it's easier
Sweet.
to take your tokens and hit the rest button. But if you like, you can change your spells around, and basically
did not.
nothing happens during the nights. It seems like this place, like the rest of the place, is fairly quiet.
Maybe take shrink off of today's list. I'm still not sure why I picked that spell, but I'll find uses for it, I'm sure.
Well, the last time we used that on somebody, we lost a party member, so.
Oh no.
Miklo feels guilt about that because it was his idea.
As you guys do go to rest here, it's a fairly easy rest to have, as it feels like you just are way more tired than you imagined you were, and just quickly fall asleep, every one of you.
On a nice little bed of ashes.
Pretty much, as you awaken again, seemingly with a dreamless night, almost like the same time skip that you had felt before. But this time, you're revitalized rather than drained by your travels.
This is so disorienting.
I feel like I didn't get much sleep at all.
I feel like I
Like
got a ton
proper-
of sleep, except I don't remember it. Did I even sleep?
I think I saw you pass out.
Yeah.
Like proper followers. You take refuge in the bosom of my domain. How proper.
Please don't use that word.
Yeah.
Or any words if you can help it.
No.
Maybe we can teach them better words.
Remember when we tried to teach Xeriac to not be such a jerk?
Well, it's hard to teach that to a creature that is more
Oh,
powerful.
no, I think
Yeah.
Kevak's onto something. Because we tried to teach him how to be a better person, and he got so annoyed with us, he didn't want us around anymore. And just kind of went off on his own devices.
He chose to stay on a deserted island instead of being free.
Are we bad guys?
No. Maybe. Kevak's going to cast Create Food and Create Water
All
to
right.
restock
Yeah, that's probably
their
restock.
their side of the party.
Of course, we are also a benevolent god. Show us where the Xeriacs is, and we shall smite them ourselves.
No.
I mean, you can't really get there.
We kind of went through a door and it closed behind us.
Well, open it again then.
Oh, we can't. It was done with
Treason.
ghost power.
Spooky ghost power.
We can't
And I
get
don't
back
want to
right
go
now.
back just to be stuck on an island with Tut and a mushroom man that thinks he's a god.
And a dragon. He was...
Well, I wouldn't mind being around Todd. He was nice.
Didn't he also have a superiority complex?
I think he was just insecure about himself and felt better about being around friends.
That's the way to put it.
Alright, so
Just like the Demiurge, the first of the four Wayseekers.
Can we please not call it that every time we refer to it?
Demi, we have a chance to help someone in need
He's trying to take control of you.
because he's scared.
Really know that? I mean, he says he's all powerful and perfect. Maybe he'll be fine on his own.
Yeah, he's just buffing. No, he's just buffing himself up. That's all it is.
We can hear you, you know.
That's okay. I feel better. I think we might be able to do this.
Thanks, Kevak, for that water.
Savor it. I can't make much.
That's fair.
Spell's incredibly useful.
I feel like it's enough to get us through the day at least.
Glad we managed to get on a deserted island with you. Can you imagine if we never broke this one out?
We probably
Or,
would have died.
Took him with us.
I'm sure you can eat the trees if you really depended on it.
But the trees don't have moisture in them.
I mean, I guess it's worth a shot, but... Oh, that was sarcasm.
So you wanted to see the mine still, right?
Aye.
Little Demi, have you ever seen mines before?
Of course, everything in this world is mine. Ours.
Wonderful. Well, let's get going then.
What if he doesn't stick with us?
In my head, I thought, I
Then we'll
feel like he's
consider
gonna
it-
make a joke about things being mine, and he did, and I'm so happy.
Yes.
Kevak, if
yes.
he doesn't follow us, we can consider it a blessing from the Wayseekers.
It's his choice entirely.
But is he going to be able to travel with us without knowing where the mines are?
We'll see. We have no way of really knowing, do we?
Not like we lose anything if we're wrong.
We know everything. Especially
What?
where these mines are.
What direction are the
Good,
mines?
then you shouldn't get lost.
Up.
Demi will probably be fine if they just focus on following us, I would assume. And if they don't want to follow us, they can go back to the grove.
So you guys start making your way out of the waterfall, or out of the grove here. No waterfall to be seen. And you begin to start turning north. And you walk, and nothing's happening.
Uh-oh.
So why isn't it working the same way as it did before?
Are you doing something, Demi? Demi?
We are doing everything at all times. We are
No.
responsible for the machinations of this universe.
Don't tell me, because he hasn't been there.
That's probably what it is.
Oh,
And it's going to prevent us from going there.
No, we can just...
now he's actively hindering our efforts. In addition to being an annoyance.
We can still get there, we just can't... We just can't forget the journey.
Kevak's going to
This
step
is
over.
honestly
Well,
better because
I suppose
that
it's
whole,
not.
that whole
Look.
thing was honestly scary.
Why don't I try something? Kevak's going to step on over to Demi. He's going to kind of reach down and just pick him up and hold him like a screaming baby as far away from him as possible. Maybe now we can go.
As you try again, nothing happens.
Kevak
Kevak,
roughly
what
puts
are
him
you-
down.
All.
Oof.
So it's not him, it's something else.
Well, let's maybe focus on a different location. Like, how about the shipwreck?
Or the
Shipwreck.
village.
You saw that too, right?
Yeah, it's just this way.
There shouldn't be any issues this time, hopefully.
As you guys start following Demiurge, you start going south. And before long, you are thrust forward again in time. Again, that skip feeling goes through your head. And you end up in a place none of you are familiar with except for Demi. And it seems like it's on a beach. But again, you're not familiar with it. It's not the same beach that you were at before.
Interesting.
What side of the island does it seem to be on? Well, I guess there's really no like sun to be able to figure that out, though, huh?
The only person who could tell you where on the island this is, sort of, is Demi.
Oh
Does
no.
Demi know where the island is?
Demi knows that this is at least the southern part of the island. Past the lake, but near it.
Interesting. Well, impressive, is it not? Worthy of your praise.
So that's interesting. We were able to get here even though none of us knew this location. That means there must have been an issue with the mine itself.
Maybe the mine doesn't exist here?
It's a possibility.
Yeah, if a conceptualized thing doesn't exist. Yeah, that would make sense.
Is that why you haven't found your proper respect for your superiors?
So, I suppose let's try exploring this. See if there's anything interesting here that could be interesting.
Kevak nods, completely ignoring Demi.
As you guys start looking around yourselves, you realize that there's a bit of a mast of a ship about about 100-ish, 150 yards away from you, down into what seems to be a like gulf area, like a beach, right? A cove. It goes down into where the water should be, but it is just fine mist. That's sort of where the water should be. And you kind of walk down where the water meets, or water should meet the land, meeting the beach, and then the silt that kind of gets up against the beach before sort of sliding a little bit down the usual embankment that there is on a beach into an area where it seems like there's a lot more of that like ghostly feeling. There's a lot more of that light sort of whispering through the mist around you. And
Interesting.
on each side of you, you look at some of the rocks and you see some like dried up seaweeds and stuff like that down here. And I'm going to move you guys to another map.
Hmm.
Oh boy.
That looks haunted. I'm saying it now.
If it is, maybe we can have a good conversation with somebody.
Fair.
As you guys step into this more open area, you definitely reach the ship.
Ah,
Hold on, let me give you.
I won't metagame, but the title of this location is pretty interesting. That's cool.
Yes.
Oh no.
Finally getting that payoff.
You were gonna
Well,
learn it
we-
anyway.
I mean, it says tapestry right there on the side.
Oh yeah, it could be any random ship that you guys happen upon. Like it
Yeah.
couldn't be the ship that you've been searching for the past months. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put a random ship in front of you.
More like
Exactly.
the past week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, as you guys reach this place feels like you're underwater almost, but it's just in this like strange milky mist. You can see fairly well, and ahead of you, you do see this shipwreck, seemingly rotted but also dried and filled with like clams and barnacles that just look same as everything else, dried up, dead, lifeless. And as you guys are approaching, I want you all to make perception checks.
I also like that once again Vallo is the person walking directly towards the spooky thing
It's a
immediately.
character flaw. It's what my character would do.
No, I
Yeah.
love it. It gets stuff going
Kevak,
and it's consistent.
you stop the group from moving any more forward as you see just barely this lump of something moving in the like wreckage of this thing. Doesn't seem to have noticed you as you caught it.
Kevak's gonna drop his voice and kind of hold up his hand. There's something in there. Definitely something.
A ghost?
It was moving. It was a ghost. I'd see through it, right?
Ghosts can move.
A fish?
There's no water.
Does a minion need enemy dispatched?
I don't know what it is.
We'll find out soon. We have a policy of not striking until we know the enemy's intentions.
We do?
If you can speak a language, raise up slowly.
As you hear this creature sort of get up from whatever it was looking at down there,
Have you never read a horror book?
and you see this zombie, you see this flesh-eating creature that seems to have a long tongue, sort of still with a skull in its hand. It's sort of putting the tongue through the like holes in the skull and licking away at whatever it can. It's desperately trying to find some more to eat, but once it sees you with all your flesh, with all your meats, its eyes go wide and it starts charging towards you.
Ah!
As we're going to change the music.
So this is Nyx's new character, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I'm playing another
I
undead
don't think he
character.
speaks a language.
Where's my music?
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm getting some good laughs.
Not the bone slurper.
I'll be right back in like 30 seconds. 1 second.
Cool.
All right.
Actually, as long as he's up, I'm gonna get some water.
I will
Good
do the
luck.
same.
This
It's hard
break,
playing introducing a
Good
character.
luck.
this break is sponsored by water.
Isn't it illegal to like claim fake sponsorships?
This is not a sponsorship. This was a joke.
It sounds like something that would be illegal.
This
Whoa,
D&D
it's-
session is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Shut no.
Okay, now
no.
that would be. I was going to say, I don't think the entirety of like H2O is gonna sue us.
Who knows?
Great.
Big water.
Back. Oh no, there's 7
Every
Nyxes.
water molecule on the planet versus fucking Neldu Twitch, the lawsuit of the century.
Sue
Is
me,
everyone
water.
back?
I dare you. I have no lawyer.
Is everyone back?
Yeah.
Is anybody
Kevak.
Why
not
am I
here?
saying that out of character now? Shit.
As the zombie starts charging, you hear a shrill laugh from up from the wreckage. Ooh, you silly yokels! So, do you perhaps want to share the glory with me?
Yee.
Love that.
Is
I
that a
love
rat?
That,
I hope you're talking to
profile
us.
picture. I love that art.
I think that's a rat.
And swinging down is a distinctly rat-shaped, form, wearing pretty much a metal pipe strapped onto a piece of wood as its weapon, pointing it towards the undead that are moving towards you.
All right, you guys can roll initiative now.
Who are you calling a Yoko?
Oh, that's nice.
Know who you are, but we'll accept any help you can give.
Thank goodness he's not with the zombies.
Oh no, multiple of us rolled like shit. Great.
As you see this other creature jump out and claim to be helping you, and the creatures of whatever are that have been scavenging this ship leap to action. Vallo, you go first, however.
Alrighty. I am going to activate Dragon Claws, and I am going to activate Mage Armor.
All right, you know how to drag those out.
Our
Touche?
game is still paused.
Oops, sorry, there you go. And I believe that'll be everything for you, Vallo.
Yep.
All right. Oh,
Oh, nice.
there we go.
That's new, isn't it?
Maybe.
Or, well, not new, but to this campaign at least.
It should have been on your screens. I think there was something messed up with its update, but I updated things recently, so if you see
Okay.
it now, it's good. As that rat folk creature sort of screams from the darkness, one of the ghoulish-looking creatures jumps out from like inside of the ship here and just rushes towards him. That's actually... Nope, it's got that.
Oh, nice. And there's a cursor to keep track of where you started your movement.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And as that creature gets close to you, Wick, you God damn it! I just realized the name. The last name. God dang it. Okay. As this
Trust me, it
creature,
was a coincidence.
yeah,
I
how
rolled
many of
with it
those?
though.
As he jumps out from the wreckage, it did take him some effort to get to you, so that's all of his actions. But as it does get near you, its horrible stench, even for you, gets to your nostrils, and you need to make a fortitude save.
As the ghoul
Oh,
moves
stinky.
next to him, he just starts hacking and gagging.
I like this underwater effect too.
Oh yeah, those
On the
those
map.
circles. The map thing is like, yeah, that's kind of the big uh, effect I put on there. But the actual
it.
circles around these guys is representing their aura.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
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 so they aren't
oh
summoning a
no.
demon.
Yeah, I thought they like ate a bunch of glow sticks at first, emitting
No,
light.
that's their aura of stench. As this Wick, you actually do succeed against it, and are not affected by this stench, surprisingly.
Or unsurprisingly,
Or
considering he's a rat.
unsurprisingly. Yes. As that creature had moved to you, another creature is going to jump out from the wreckage. This one also is inside, so it can only move here, and that's going to be its turn. However, this
Uh-oh.
creature doesn't seem to have been in as bad straits as some of the other creatures here, or it may seem just weaker. However, it doesn't carry that same stench with it. Kevak, you are up.
All right. So Kevak's going to test the imaginary water, so to speak, and he is going to conjure forth a small bolt of electricity to target the guy next to him and the stinky guy to his south.
All right. Yeah, that'll work. So they need to make a reflex save. The first guy succeeds by 4, and the second guy succeeds by 4. So they only take half damage from this, so roll the damage. That's still a lot of damage. Alright, so each of them takes 5 damage. Or I'll just click the half button.
Do they seem to take it pretty well?
Yes, they actually do seem to just take it like anything else would, which is not very well.
All right, and as his final action, Kevak's going to pull up his wooden shield.
Alright. Wick.
Okay, after he recovers from the unbearable stench, he is going to act quickly, and I get to do 2-3 steps, pretty much.
Alright.
1 and 2. He like ducks away and quickly like moves closer to the group before going more quickly as he joins up with the rest of the people. So I'll stride it.
By the way, did your initiative get +2 on it because of 10 paces?
I did put that into the modifier, yeah.
Nice, okay.
Interesting.
And he is going to whirl around and just fire his, well, pretty much medieval bazooka at the enemy that was just next to him moments ago.
Alright.
Fantastic.
A 31. You didn't target it, but something tells me that's a crit.
oh boy.
Starting
Way
off strong,
to
I see.
introduce yourself.
Excellent. Oh my god.
As you duck away and like sort of do a dive roll, and rush over towards the party. As you're running away from it, you just turn around and, like, in midair, jumping and fire the little bazooka on you.
What
And
the hell?
this creature is obliterated in a blast of just concussive force coming from your cannon, and
New
it is
magic
dead.
weapon target found. And here I was thinking I'd have to start thinking hard in combat.
New friend acquired.
+1 striking big boom gun. I love that.
That's actually what the weapon is called. Is the best part about it. Obviously without the +1 in the striking, but it's called a big boom gun.
And you'll see why soon enough. Well, you already did, but there's another aspect to it.
Laughing cackling like maniacally to himself, he is going to reach around and stuff some more black powder and just nab one of the cannonballs strapped to his chest and push it in there as
God.
well. And
Strike by the firearm misfires. Oh my god.
and he's going to strike the enemy the gas closest to him.
Yep.
With multiple attack penalty, I'm afraid.
Oh
That
no.
misses and you misfire.
What happens?
So about that.
What the fuck? This description. You take 1d12. Oh my god. I love this character.
As he lights the wick on his gun, it goes down into the cannon, but apparently doesn't fire, and he shakes it a bit before it explodes violently next to him.
Roll your 1d12. 2
Yup.
damage.
Be worse.
It would certainly explain why the mask/helmet that he is wearing looks slightly singed.
Damn it.
At least you
How to make
have
an
helmet safety.
endearing character in one round of combat.
And as my final action, I'm just going to reload normally.
Incredible.
Alright.
Oh, actually, no, wait. I have to clear it out now as my last action before I can do anything with it. My bad.
So you spend your last action clearing the gun, swearing to yourself in Ratfolk. As the gas that you had attempted to strike barrels into the group. And is going
Oh,
from
no.
Miklo. And as he also gets closer, I need Demiurge, Vallo, Miklo, and Kevak to make Fortitude saving throws.
Oh no.
Alright, so most of you are able to push back the stench, but the sensitive nostrils of the mushroom are too much, and the mushroom becomes sickened.
Okay.
Becomes what's the status?
Sickened, I put it on you.
Oh, thanks.
Oh boy, sensitive nostrils of the mushroom. Oh, that's a sentence.
That's amazing.
Alright, so it makes a strike against Miklo and does hit.
Reaction to raise shield. Does it still hit?
Yes.
Okay.
As it'll roll its damage. It deals 10 damage to you, and I'm going to need you to roll a Fortitude saving throw. Twice.
2 more. Oh no.
What? Oh no.
First one looks good.
First one is great, as you critically succeed against it, whatever it was. The second, however, also succeeds just barely. As you feel as this disgusting creature's jaws kind of gnarl into your shoulder, not really going too deep for you, but whatever filth and just like sickness comes into you, it feels like, one, you feel like you're going to be sick, you're going to catch something, and two, it feels like your muscles were trying to lock up on you for a moment, but you shook it all off. But it's going to strike again for its final action. That will miss. As it tries to swipe at you with its claws, it goes right off of your shield.
Beautiful.
But now you hear pounding across the deck of the ship, which kind of is already sort of submerged halfway into the sediments, as a creature in hulking armor wielding an axe sort of drags it off with it and jumps down into the sand.
Oh dear.
And it's going to use its third action. Is it? Yeah. It's going to make its way up here as it just lumbers towards you, Gadget. But it does not have any more actions to do anything. Another one, a ghoul, is going to rush towards Wick. It took 2 actions to walk and 1 action to... Why did Google think I'm talking to it? Anyway. As it strikes at you, Gadget, or Wick. Trying to
Long
bite
ass
into
arms.
with its jaws, and it does bite into Wick. So I need you to make 2 Fortitude saves.
Oh, goody.
Nice.
First is a well-rounded success, and the second is actually a success as well. As you're no stranger to this sort of creature, and you're able to push off any sort of ill effects it would have on you. Finally, one around the corner. Is going to rush up and make 1 strike against Gadget.
Uh-oh.
As its jaws come towards you, it's going to roll a success on its hit. Just barely, but a success. I'm going to roll the damage, and you need to make 2 Fortitude saves.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh dear.
So you fail the first save, succeed on the second. Also, Wick, did I put damage on you for that check?
You didn't.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll the damage on that as well. 7 damage to you, Wick, and for Gadget, 6 damage. But you're a lot more worse for wear, as whatever ailments this creature has just infecting its teeth gets really into you, and since you critically failed, I believe
Oh no.
you're automatically upgraded to stage 2 of this effect. And take
Boy.
11 damage, 11 negative damage, as you feel yourself sort of rotting away as this,
Oh.
whatever ailment this is, just overtakes your immune system, starts damaging you quite badly. But that's it.
I come to this game to escape a pandemic, thank you.
Going to Miklo.
Yeah. So Smoking Sword goes up, and I will use 2 actions to strike with flames on the super stinky guy in front of me.
Okay.
So let me make sure I know how to do this. Toggle. And strike. 24 to hit.
That does hit. Roll the damage.
7.
7 damage. As you strike into the creature with the extra fire, it does hurt it, but it seems pretty formidable.
Yeah. I'm gonna move with my last action.
Okay. Gadget. You're surrounded by 3
I am in danger.
creatures.
Yes. Well, yeah, seems like kind of a pickle. Let's see.
You know,
I
this
think
ghoul is really reminding me of that fire rat.
Yep. I use the same effects.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and go with. Let me go ahead and place the thing. I don't remember. I should be able to do it here. There we go.
If you click into the chat, there's
There
that.
we go.
Yeah. All right. So they need to make a Fortitude save. Fortitude save. Yep. The first one rolled a natural 1. Second one failed as well. As you rush around and get right into this large, hulking, sort of seaweed-drenched creature, you just unleash this gout of wind and send it reeling back
Yeah.
30 feet.
Gadget like
Oh
draws
yes.
this little glyph in the air and then kind of like with both hands like opens like the spell book pages like facing them and the little vortex kind of shoots out in a line.
And it's also knocked prone.
Oh, whoops, shit. I didn't mean to make that. I don't know how to delete that.
You should hover over it and press delete. The delete key on your keyboard.
Okay, there we go.
And the other creature knocked prone only. But yeah, you pretty much dealt a lot of damage to the one guy who got thrown back and put them on the ground.
Oh, well, that's a big relief.
Okay.
All right, Demi.
Fine. It looks like a bit of divine intervention is necessary. He then switches over to a speaking Negril and declares, "All of you, your unlife is forfeit starting from right now." And then he commands his shadow to move to.
Say he was speaking Necro or something?
Yep, Negril.
Necril.
Necril?
He commands
Oh,
his
is that
shadow
like-
to move.
Huh.
He commands his shadow to use 2 strides to get over to the square.
Okay.
And then he casts Final Sacrifice.
Okay.
Immediately kills
That
this
is-
familiar.
Oh my god! I've always wanted to use that spell. Thank you for picking that. Fuck!
All right.
God, that's
so-
great.
Within 20 feet. So that's like
Oh no.
each of the creatures there.
Yeah, I drew it. I had to plan this meticulously because he kept moving guys around.
So
There you go.
Whoa.
that's what that area of effect was.
All right, roll the 66 damage as I make these for reflex save.
Wow, we actually managed to position that perfectly.
We need to like strategize
Holy
more.
shit.
All right, 2 of them fails, 1 succeeds.
That's
As
fantastic.
you send your shadow sort of slinking across the battlefield. It just grows in size and then just pops like a balloon in a fiery explosion. As it is just
I don't think I want to be his minion.
It just sends this explosion out and takes 19 fire damage on all of these guys.
That's
Well, not all
fucking
of them.
great. I debated when I leveled up last time taking Summon Elemental and Final Sacrifice together.
As these creatures are sent reeling by that destructive wave, and the shadow's gone.
You've done your service well, Shadow number 27.
27.
That's it for Demiurge's turn.
Well,
That's
that was
great.
unexpected.
And this is why we are not your minions.
Guy?
You see this other large hulking creature drenched in seaweed, dried up, just jumps down to Miklo and makes a strike.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Now they're both in your area.
Misses just barely.
Nice.
Oof.
It could leap from where it was down to there, so it's going to make one more attack. Also misses, as it brings around this, like, hulking great axe. It tries to swipe into you, Miklo, but you're able to defend it and deflect just barely. And that's its turn. Back to the top of the round with Vallo.
Cool. I get to actually do what I want. So I'm going to start with Dragon Feint attack.
Okay.
Some up.
And that does hit. Roll
Cool.
the damage on it.
Interestingly, I cannot actually see Vallo's token on my end, so that could have totally had Vallo in the epicenter of that blast.
Oh my
He's
goodness, I
right
just
there.
casually roll max damage.
Yeah, as
Nice.
you just claw away at this ghast, it takes a lot of damage.
I'm not going to fall again like last time. And then I'm going to use Kobold Breath.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep, that'll work.
Cool. Hit both. They both need to make a reflex save against my spell save DC. And here is the damage.
Just a basic reflex.
I think so.
So they both succeed, but they take half damage.
Nice. 4 damage in total.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
And that's my turn.
All right. As you unleash that breath, one
I
of
love our
the
tiny dragon.
ghouls starts wailing away at Kevak. First with its jaws. Bites into you and hits, so I need you to make 2 Fortitude saves.
That was for how many turns until Kobold Breath can be used.
Oh, you're actually on like a recharge dice too? That's so cool.
So
Yeah, it is.
you succeed on both of those as well, Kevak. So you feel that like necrotic, almost feverish feeling in you as it bites into you for 4 damage. It you just fight it off, but it's still going to make another claw attack against you.
Oh, do I have any kind of lasting effect on me?
No,
Oh, okay.
it misses with its second swipe and misses with its third swipe as it kind of claws at you, but it just can't get through like your defense. You're holding your shield out. You're making sure it's not attacking you. And that's its turn. Kevak, you are up now.
All right. Kevak is going to. So it's pretty easy to tell that these guys are pretty hurt that are like around him, right?
Yeah, if you're hovering over them, you can see.
I didn't know if we were allowed to know that, like in character or not.
Yeah, that's specifically supposed to be an in character. Like, okay, it looks like it's near death. Okay, it looks like it's badly injured. Yeah.
All right, so he's going to use Electric Arc again, but on these 2 gravely wounded targets
All right.
nearby him.
reflex save. One is a critical success. The one that is looking more ghastly.
Of
But
course
the
he is.
one that was knocked
Ghastly,
prone by
uh-huh.
Gadget, well, that one is just fried on the floor and is destroyed. No matter what you rolled there, it was dead.
Gotcha.
And the second one takes no damage because of the crit success.
And he is going to take a step back.
All right.
And that will be what he does.
And now it is our Wick.
Wick seems to be hyper focused on the enemy in front of Miklo. As he shouts, Achtung, Herr Tin Pot, keep your head down. And he is going to once again shove dangerous amounts of black powder followed by cannonball into his weapon.
I duck.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
It does hit.
Oh.
So roll
Plus
the damage.
13. Oh my god.
I wasn't scared.
11 damage on it. Yeah, gunslingers are like fighters where they have expert proficiency to start with on their, well, guns. So you shoot this cannonball. Luckily, this time it works, but it's not as effective as you were hoping, as it sort of clips the creature rather than exploding into its face.
Disappointed, Wick thinks about his next move, his eyes wandering to the flasks strapped to his side, which he quickly grabs and just slams into his cannon.
Okay.
You know what's coming, Comus.
Yep.
What is this?
I am fascinated.
Is he the magic gunner?
No, better. I'm
big
going to use
gun?
an acid flask for this.
All right. Acid.
Oh.
Make the strike. That's going to be a failure, as you take 1d6 from the alchemical thing exploding in the chamber, dousing you in acid. It also makes the
my-
gun explode. You take 1d12 damage from that. So roll
Wha-
1d6 and 1d12.
Oh my god! Did you make the build that would be most damaging to yourself?
Perhaps.
Want to see me hurt myself? Want to
This is
see me do it
incredible.
again?
Well, you're rolling pretty low on your damage to yourself, so you only take 5 damage from
god!
that.
I think Wick is
fucking
pretty
great.
experienced at blowing up.
Holy shit!
He's protecting us by taking all the hits for himself.
Gadget's like watching on in horror as this guy keeps blowing himself up.
Despite everything, Wick doesn't seem to be all in with Fubea. Either he's used to it, or he's just a very tough rat. Those were 3 actions, so yeah, that's my turn.
Alright.
Oh my god!
So now
What a
is
wonderful
this
character.
guy, and everybody who's still in his aura, Vallo, Marduk, or Demiurge, and Kevak, needs to roll their fortitude saves against the stench.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
As you two, Kevak's fine, but you two are sickened. One, which Marduk, sorry, Demi, you're already sickened, but because of the crit fail, you're also slowed.
Oh no.
And Vallo is sickened and slowed as well.
Oh no.
What is sickened? Wait, I can hover over it, I think. What does this do? Oh, no, it doesn't tell me. What does sickened to do?
Reduces everything by 1, basically.
Mhm.
Oh.
Isn't slow really bad too?
Slow is basically like the opposite of haste, where your
Leapt.
actions are reduced by 1.
Oh no.
How long does the slow last? Does it reduce every turn, like stun, or?
Yeah. Like most things, it reduces every turn. But as you guys, what was it? Vallo, did you succeed on this last time? The stench?
Yeah.
You are unaffected.
Oh.
Because a creature that succeeds at its save is temporarily immune for 1 minute. So,
Oh,
yeah, you're
cool.
fine. But the Mushroom Man is not doing well at all.
Poor Demiurge.
For a thing that eats rotten stuff all day, you're not doing great.
Hey, I'm doing
They're
pretty
too
good, thank you
strong.
very
They have to be
much.
nerfed.
As it moves up, it's going to make 1 strike against Vallo, which misses just barely as it scrapes its jaws off of the mage armor that you've just put up. It's what saved you. And it's going to claw against Demi. It's also going to be a miss, as it rolled really low, and as you're kind of like really short for it, it tries to reach over and like claw at you. You just kind of stumble out of the way and avoid it.
I'd like to think that his retching caused him to avoid it.
Yes.
Gadget, the gust of wind isn't something that's still active, right?
It's active until the end of my next turn.
Okay, so
He can't move against the wind.
Right. So he's going to have to try and get up, which is an action to stand.
Let me go ahead and put it back in chat just to be sure. Duration until the start of my next turn. Sorry, start of my next turn.
It's going to stand. It's going to start lumbering towards you.
Oh no!
How much feet does it have? What's its? Actually, it has to use all of its movement to get back to you because it couldn't go easily. So yeah, it lumbers up to you, but it doesn't have enough energy to continue attacking you just yet. Finally, a ghoul is going to continue attacking Wick. First with the jaws. That's going to be a hit. So I need you to roll 2 Fortitude Saves. And you also take 7 damage.
Does making a ranged attack when there's somebody next to you, does that make them get an attack opportunity against you?
Yeah, that's the only penalty, which most enemies may not have attacks of opportunity anyway. Wick, I need Fortitude Saves from you.
1 and 2.
That is a success, and that is also a success. As you are, again, just used to filthy things. You are just immune to whatever sicknesses are coming through, but you do take 7 damage. And it's going to start clawing at you. Missing with its first claw, and its second claw also just misses. As it just tries to keep swinging, but it's, that flurry of attacks is less accurate and just can't hit you. Miklo.
All right. I'm going to do a Bold and Brave and actually leave my position to rush back in to try to help my allies.
Okay.
Whether they like it or not. And rush into there.
All right, you get a +2 for flanking with
Cool.
Demi.
Yep, I will start with that one. With a simple sword strike, try to thrust right through it.
Go for it.
20 to
That'll
hit.
Roll.
Here we go. That's too much damage. Subtract the d6, so 8
D6 by
damage.
1 is
I
9,
think.
because you still have the extra 1 damage on the smoking part. Remember?
Yeah, but the d6 shouldn't apply, which was 2 damage.
Yeah, so we're reducing that to 1, because the other 1 damage from the regular fire isn't applying. So 9 damage is enough to destroy it anyway, or 8. Either
Okay,
way.
yeah.
As you come up and strike this creature in the back, you hear the sizzle of the blade as you stab into its back as it just reels in your, and then just falls to the floor.
All right. Follow-up strike to this other guy that I'm not flanking.
All right.
Woo, I whirl my blade around and plunge it through the guy.
Yeah, roll damage.
Oh, did it again.
That's fine.
I gotta
Either
fix
way,
that.
it is also destroyed as you like pull your blade out of the other creature and just turn, and using the momentum of the turn, just lop this creature's head off as it just goes to the ground dead as well.
You guys all right? Hang in there. I got your backs.
Wow, still in the show, aren't you?
Just stay focused. We got this.
All right, so it is now Gadget's turn.
All right. First of all, that goes away. Gadget's gonna sigh and kind of free action call out. If you think you cannot blow yourself up in the process, I could use help on this one. And he's gonna. Oh, sorry. And he's gonna draw out the clan dagger and use an action to reach spell, and make sure he's within 30 feet. Fuck. That's 35, I think.
That's a ray. If you do the measurement tool, yeah, he's 40 feet away, according to the
Oof.
measurement.
Well, that sort of changes things. In that case, belay that. Not saying any of that. Running the fuck away and casting Electric Arc.
All right. You can attack both creatures as well, the big hulking guy and the ghoul under Wick with the electric arc, because they're both within
Going in.
30 feet of you.
Wait, they're within 30 feet of each other?
Is it?
Cause like,
I always hate this spell because I have to look this up.
I think it's 30 feet from you.
I'm pretty sure it's 30 feet from you.
one target to another? Oh, okay.
An arc, yeah, it's just targets one or two creatures. It doesn't arc between the creatures. It arcs from your hands.
I see.
Yep, you target two creatures at 30-foot range from you. So you target two creatures from the position you were in, and it works.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, that makes more sense. I've always envisioned it as like an arc jumping from one to the other.
You would think so, and groups get fucked up by it all the time. So the ghoul below Wick critically succeeds with a natural 20, and the big guy on the right succeeds, but he still takes half damage. So roll a half damage.
I don't know why that rolled 2d4.
Yeah, it's supposed
That's
to.
accurate.
It's upgraded.
Oh, it's a. I forgot about that, huh?
Yep, it's heightened +1. So whenever you gain a new spell level, like now that you have level 2 spells, it'll get the heightened effect.
Damn, I
You'll get the
really
level
want to see what Wick looks like with magic weapon. But I suppose we'll have time to find out.
He's going to explode even more violently.
So
At least still have a
Easy
+1
bonus.
to avoid that. That's my turn.
that's your turn. Demi, you've been having a bad time, but
Yes.
it's your turn.
The little fungus claps their hands. Well, all in a good day's work. Now if you'll excuse us, and then they retch.
Okay, you remove the second condition with Wretch.
Beautiful.
Don't I have to roll for that or something? Oh, right. 'cause
No, it's just an
medicine
action
thing.
to do it.
How does a mushroom throw up?
Spores.
Spores, yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
that's even worse.
Top of spores.
My bloody shoes! You freaking.
Oh,
The Demiurge straightens up and wipes off the little underside of its cap before casting Evil Eye on this
All right. So put it in chat so I can roll the save. Does it have a save?
I think it's a yeah, it's a save.
Will save. All right.
Love that icon.
It does succeed,
That is a lot of tags. Jeez.
unfortunately, as it looks over to you and it seems unaffected. It seems unafraid of your little evil eye.
Demiurge just glares impotently, and that's it for their turn.
All right. Now for the one creature that was attacking Miklo. It is going to just rush up past. Oh, I'm on the ruler. Past him, and it's going to make a swipe attack against Vallo and Kevak.
Why me?
Alright, so that's AC does hit Kevak, and it does not hit Vallo,
Okay.
Mage armor coming in clutch.
as it's going to roll the damage on it. Against Kevak is going to be 15 damage.
That triggers my champion's reaction, Retributive Strike.
Alright. How much is it reduced by?
Let's see, 2 plus your level. So that would be 6, reduced by 6.
Alright, 15 reduced by 6 is 9, Kevak. You take 9 damage. Miklo, do your attack.
Working on it. Here we go. Huh, cool.
Unfortunately, it misses.
With flanking?
Yeah. It's
Darn.
It puts it up to -1 to hit, but still doesn't hit.
Ah, so close. Hey, at least I negated some damage. That's the important part.
Mm-hmm. As also, Kevak, there's one more thing. I need you to make a what is this? Will save, Kevak.
Technically, you guys are winning.
All right.
Kevak is doing like amazing on all of these saves.
You are still sickened by whatever this effect was, as you feel like this strange, sickly, almost sea-like, like ocean-like, like if you were to get sick on a ship feeling. You're sickened 1. Which I can pull out. There you go. But that's it for its turn. Vallo, you're up.
Cool. I'm gonna start by making a strike against this dude in front of me. Am I flanking?
You're not. You have to be completely opposite with another guy. So
Okay.
Miklo and Demi are flanking. If you were to move here, that would be flanking with Kevak.
I actually don't want to do that.
Okay. Unfortunately, that just barely misses the creature as your claws sort of scrape off of armor that you didn't really notice was there.
Darn. Okay. That's a line, right? I can do a spell.
Well, draw out a like. Yeah, that works.
Cool. Then I'm going to, with my last 2 actions, cast Inner Radiance Torrent.
All right.
Both of these dudes need to make a reflex save.
Oh, shoot. One critically fails. The other
Attention to the
critically fails.
description before, but this is he just does a Kamehameha.
Roll the damage against these guys, as they're gonna take double damage both as they
A
both.
beam of light shot out of my fingers. Oh, that feels so good.
Tengu Hadouken!
I don't watch Dragon Ball Z.
I was more
damage.
thinking of the Kamehameha considering you can charge it over 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's fair.
Huh, okay, I gotta reload because I seem to be,
I honestly imagine it a bit more like how in Avatar: The Last Airbender, like the lightning is bent. I always found that really cool.
okay, this is really weird. Something's going screwy on.
Well, I think I've dealt myself more damage in this combat than enemies have.
Hey, that's the goal, right?
Can't have enemies kill you if you kill yourself first.
Sorry guys, I had to reload my browser.
No problemo.
I really miss having Google Fiber. Alright, I'm back in. You have dealt 12 damage, which is upgraded to 24 total, because they both failed, and they are both obliterated by this
Oh
torrent
my
of force.
goodness.
That was cool.
Hell
actually.
yeah.
As you just send
boy.
them flying, their bones scattering to the wind.
Oh my gosh.
That was more effective than I was expecting.
Vallo fucking MVP.
Alright, I think that's your turn, Kevak.
Nice.
Kevak's gonna do the retching thing.
Alright, you solve your sickened condition.
Just add it to the spores, you know. And then he's going to take a look at the last school, and he's going to try to smite it with lightning.
Alright. It's gonna
With
be
some-
reflex. It fails. Roll the damage.
Ooh.
19. That's enough to actually kill this thing.
Ah,
As
he
you just
strikes again.
Good.
call down another bolt of
The
lightning.
locust
just-
bolt.
And it's just destroyed, turned to ashes. And that's going to be the end of combat, as all of the creatures around you seem to have been destroyed.
Well, that was an ordeal and a half.
Is it
Okay,
all of them?
You know, you're
Um,
grateful.
who are you, and are you okay? Like, your gun blew up. Your boomstick there get kind of.
Oh, trust me, my little smoking sticken, it's a feisty one, but she does her thing very good.
Well, I could certainly see how frighteningly effective it was when it actually hit something other than you. Thanks for
Oh.
your help.
You're welcome, silly yokels. The name is Wick, with a W,
Oh.
so you know.
Well, hello, Vic. I am Vallo. With a V, not a W.
Did you just call him Vic?
Well, it's how it's pronounced.
He said Vic.
He said Vic.
The rat just crosses his arms and tilts his head.
And I'm
Wonderful.
Miklo, by the way.
Wick,
Gadget, hold still a moment. And
What?
Miklo goes up to him to lay on hands.
Oh, right.
So we've got a interesting that we found somebody else here as well.
Many thanks.
Anytime.
Well, I ended up stranded in this weird place, but I've been making the best out of this. It's certainly been adventurous.
Well, we're in the same boat, more or less. Don't suppose you
wonderful.
want us to worship you?
Nine. I'm just looking to get back and uh, be hailed as the hero that I am.
I mean, you did come and
Wonderful.
help us. I do appreciate that.
Come with us. You shall be our new minion.
That
Don't mind him. He's also new.
that attack with your weird.
It's a smoking stickin'. You'll get there. Don't worry.
Your
Silly
smoking
Miklo.
stickin' was amazing.
Thank you.
Really amazing, actually. Maybe when we've got time for it, I'd like a look at that thing.
Well, I've tinkered with it myself, so I guess you can also take a look at it. Just don't touch it too much, or you're going to explode.
I
big.
don't want to touch it.
Are you hurt, Mr. Vic?
Just a regular amount of hurt.
Great. Hold still. I can patch it up real fast. And you get a lay on hands.
Oh, you can do it like more than once now?
Twice.
Oh, is it like a focus spell for you?
It is a focus spell.
Oh, okay, cool.
Ooh, interesting. What is that?
Oh, it's nothing really. It's just a little bit of the power Corphane lets me use to help people in need.
Magical touch.
Yeah, we can do that too.
I have
Really?
no
That's
idea.
wonderful.
I have no idea who this Corphane is, but I do appreciate him allowing you to do this.
You're from far away, aren't you?
You could say that, yes.
Seems we're all trapped in this place.
Well, I have a book that'll tell all about the Seekers. If you hang out with us, I can go over it with you if you like.
Do the Seekers hand out medals or anything like that?
No?
Something like that. kind
Then
of.
perhaps I'm not as interested as I made it out to be.
Okay, we can just stick with whenever it comes up and things you need to know for now then. And if you ever get curious, we can definitely have some talks. That's totally fine.
So, of course, I will also gladly teach you how to wield my smoking stickin'.
If it's anything like a crossbow, I should be fine.
It's nothing like a
Gadget shoots a
crossbow.
worried look in Miklo's direction. I think it shows a few notable differences.
I don't think Miklo should be touching that thing personally.
Oh, okay.
He's
Crossbows
wearing,
don't usually explode in your hands.
Oh, right.
he's wearing the tin pot. He's very protected from it. After all, I also have my head protection on, and he wraps his knuckles against the skull mask, producing a hollow, rattling sound.
So is that an actual, you know?
Yes, it is.
Oi, Vallo. Great job, by the way. But also, I see it inching towards the ship. We'll go together.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking at it and
But yes, I don't want to let anybody get lost and alone out here. So you're definitely welcome to tag along with us, right, everybody?
Another
Oh,
tag
I-
along.
Yes.
Well, you seem to be getting into danger, so I will make sure to keep you, to get you out of said danger and earn myself a lot of glory in the process.
Perfect.
yeah.
Real good with those powers, by the way, Vallo. Excellent work.
That's true. That was so awesome, that big beam you did. It was like mine, but bigger and stronger. Let's go check out the ship.
Well, don't worry. Your beam's pretty good too. Maybe Venator just likes big beams more.
I could see that, actually.
As you guys inch towards the ship, you are pretty confident that whatever creatures were here have been destroyed by your magic or cannonballs. And you are looking it over and finding that much of it is in disrepair, much of it destroyed. But as you do peek into the ship, which is sort of half buried into the sand by this point, you do see in the dark corner the sort of glint of something metallic.
Don't think.
What is that?
Let's find out.
I grab it.
Well, it's
we'd
something
have to get
inside of
closer.
the ship.
I go inside
And,
the ship.
There are a few holes in the ship, especially with the other creatures jumping out of it. It smells rotten in here, disgusting, as this was sort of a nesting ground for those undead creatures. But you do find what you're looking for here. That glint seems to have come from the clasp on a chest. A chest that is locked, but
Oh, if only we had snout.
it's a big chest. It's about as big as Kevak, pretty much. Like a huge chest.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Do you think this is the ship that we heard about in the first place? Oh, I'd almost forgotten about this. With the whole dragon smuggling business.
Oh, I'm so thankful we didn't have to look across the ocean floor, far away, but somewhere between the island and the mainland for it.
I would have never found this place otherwise.
The ship
Well-
you were looking for.
There's one little problem.
Namely,
And
We're in Ghost World.
right.
It might just be a mirror of the ship, which
Well,
means it might
there's-
just have a mirror of the treasure.
Well, it
So it's-
certainly didn't have a mirror of the nasties down here.
What were they doing here anyway?
Good
Maybe.
bloody
you
question.
can find undead anywhere you look.
We gotta open this.
Do you see zombies everywhere?
Not anymore.
Yeah. We can raise them from the dead ourselves. So anywhere we are, there can be zombies.
No.
Ah, more
it's-
minions, I take
it's
it.
cute. Anyway,
Would you like to see?
Oh, cute.
maybe later. Maybe later.
So I assume you guys are going to drag at least this chest out of the disgusting den of
I
these
think so. I think
zombie
so.
Sure.
creepers. So you bring it outside, and it is definitely it's got draped in old
Go ahead and
desiccated seaweed and stuff
do
like
that
that.
here so you can drag it in the unoccupied spot there.
Mm. Well, it's
Sweet.
locked right now.
Oh, okay.
Breaking a lock can't be that hard, right?
Step aside, yokels. I will deal with this lock for us.
Oh, wonderful.
And he
Wait.
is
It's an
going
easy
to...
solution.
You're not implying.
He's gonna do the lockpicking thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, out of character. Gunslingers have this lockpick. Aren't they good at lockpicking? Yeah, I think they're good at lockpicking.
Yes, lock picking, right.
There's a feat for it and everything.
I'm pretty sure Miklo has probably never run into anybody like this before.
I doubt anyone of you has seen something like what Wick is pulling off.
Go ahead
If
and put it
he
in chat.
if he reaches for his cannon, I am backing the fuck up.
he
If he
is in
tries-
fact reaching for it, yes.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Wait. Are you sure we don't want to try the lock in a less destructive manner?
Whoa, you're gonna shoot it?
We want something to be left of the thing.
do not worry. I will make this quick and gentle.
Gentle.
Gentle?
And he is going to put in some black powder and, of course, a cannonball and aim
You're
it
gonna be
really,
gentle
really
with that bloody ball of.
Gadget, can't you pick locks?
No. Wait,
and he's
actually,
going to
Wait.
fire it.
Yep, I thought it was that.
Oh.
So
He actually-
roll your attack roll.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing.
That's going to be a critical success.
I
my
love this ability. This is beautiful. We don't need a rogue. We have
Oh
a guy
my
with a
God.
gun.
Meanwhile,
Yes,
we're
you-
like in
Oh my
character, we're just
God.
Done that.
panicking because we don't know what this is yet. Love it.
With the big boom, Vallo jumps a bit.
As you step back a little bit, just to give the ball some space to fly towards the lock, you aim and fire it, and just this boulder of a projectile just slams into the rock and shatters it to pieces. But luckily, that absorbs most of the shock of the weapon and just leaves the cannonball on the floor.
See, I told you
how'd
I'd
you do
be
that?
gentle.
Unbelievable.
My ears.
I could have opened it.
I did this like every normal person would do this by not picking the lock and just getting rid of the lock.
That was amazing.
I think our definitions of normal are different, but
Okay,
I
what's
guess
inside?
there's no complaints.
Let's check inside. Let's open it, everyone.
As you guys all together lift the chest open, you find a quite large amount of gold and silver pieces, intermixed with some things covered in cloth.
No copper pieces. This is a disappointment.
You're still on about that. Tell you what, we'll get a few exchanged whenever we find a place to spend the bloody things.
What in the world?
As some of you picking up the cloth-covered pieces, you see this sickle, but it's not any normal sickle you've seen. It seems to be silver and inlaid with an extra rune of
Oh, I didn't even look at the inside of the thing. I forgot we can interact with it.
yes,
Earth?
as it seems to be runed as well, with a little symbol of a mushroom on its pommel. The other little package of cloth you see is like a little like casket thing that has 3 sprigs of a tree that seems to be dried up. And somebody took the book out, which has details in it.
Yeah,
Ah,
classic Vallo.
I grabbed it.
Was there actually stuff to like read in the description for it?
Yes, there was.
oh.
I don't have permission to view it.
Okay. I will put it back in the chest so everybody can have a chance.
I put it back.
Please don't be greedy.
I don't see any description.
Yeah, I will. If you
Uh,
open up the book, you'll see that little thing that says logbook.
we
I'll
kind of
just
do this
You do
journal
not
entry.
have
There you go.
permission
Oh,
to view
have
this
permission
journal
now.
entry. Oh, hey.
I pulled it up for you guys.
There we go.
I
Oh,
can't have.
Well, let's read this.
I can't have put it in like active for you guys because then you would see it before you.
Mind if I read it out loud?
Sure.
The Museum of Relics in Masret has fallen on hard times during the Civil War and has requisitioned our ship to sell off some of their relics. The auction has already taken place, with payments proffered to the museum. They require our services to deliver the goods across the Mother Sea. They've been paying 450 gold for our initial departure, and are promised many more hefty sums upon successful completion of each delivery. An adventurer has also asked us to deliver some kobolds to a colony, paying us 500 silver to start, and promises that the colony will take them off our hands for 50 gold at the end. I don't know why the captain accepted the task. There'll be more trouble than they're worth. As follows are the items in inventory in order of importance. 1 green dragon egg.
Xeriacs.
That explains a lot. Delivery to Magus Tenerum in Tradesia. Do not break. 1,000 gold pieces. Well,
Well, we know
interesting.
where it was going. Maybe that's a place worth going to. And the 6 Warren kobolds to be sent to colonize.
I suppose if
Osaka.
we ever find our way back, it might be worth a courtesy to tell them where they ended up at. Anyway, 3 sprigs of the Oroka tree. The Halians specifically requested they must remain dry to be delivered to the Halian sanctuary near Arol.
Hawaiian Sanctuary?
Ring any bells to you?
Doesn't ring any bells to me.
Does it?
Alaya is one of the seekers.
Oh,
500 GP and the favor of the clergy.
oh, that's
Must
the
be the sprig.
Seeker of the Horizon, actually. Okay.
Does Kevak know anything about what
Exploration and
these are?
whatnot.
They do at least
one of
look
my kin.
somewhat druidic or important in that sense. Do roll a nature check for me, Kevak.
Tarlok's sickle to be delivered at Halgam Arkanost and Suravek. Keep wrapped. 200 gold pieces.
Is this name familiar at all?
Kevak, so you rolled a 27, so those sprigs would definitely be useful because they come from a special tree to the south in like a place where they're cultivated and only in that place. And they're sought after for their alchemical and druidic properties. Though beyond that, you're not sure exactly what those properties are. You'd have to ask.
Gotcha.
6 Warren kobolds to be sent to Colony Osadalam. Some adventurer want to repatriate them. 50 gold pieces. And then he reads off a few other things and kind of trails off.
Haldem Arkanost.
I don't remember a name like that.
Anybody who's native to Suravek, which I think is only Miklo,
Only
can roll
Miklo.
a society check.
Miklo.
Oh, we don't make these checks often.
Oh,
Unfortunately, it doesn't ring a bell.
It's not somebody I've ever dealt with.
Well, we certainly have some interesting places to check out if we ever get out of this mirror world.
Aye. And, got a few questions answered.
So, the ship likely, I guess, got caught up by the currents and crashed here. But no, did the kobolds steal the dragon egg and go to Suravek? That sounds likely. Like,
It's possible that both happened. They could have crashed and, kobolds took the egg on a boat.
But
what
how
did they
could it have
think
crashed?
would happen if they put kobolds in a dragon egg?
Aren't we
on the
really
same
near
boat?
the island?
Yeah, you're like down a cove. You're like very
We're still
close to-
in, like, the shelf area, right?
Yeah.
who cares? It's free stuff.
But then how would it get here? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Does it really matter in the end?
A little, yeah.
How long ago would this have been?
Depends
Like-
on how old Xeriacs is.
Wasn't it like 50 years or something like that?
It was more like a year or two because the kobolds had come directly to Suravek. They had made their clan there. There were only 6 of them, so they can grow pretty fast. They had their full clan there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like 2 or 3 years for that clan to have been at the strength it was when you encountered them.
Yeah, so these rumors would have been really recent news, actually, come to think of it. So, perhaps whoever is waiting for these sprigs is still waiting for them. In which case, I kind of feel like it's my duty to deliver it in their stead.
It would be the right thing to do.
Why?
Well, first things first, we're still in a mirror world.
Right, but now I kind of feel like I have some direction.
And where look
If it's a mirror world, it's not even what they're waiting for, is it?
But
It's
if
just
we get
stuff.
back to our world, it's probably things that people in our world were trying to get, and somehow it ended up here.
There's a copy of it in wherever your world is, right? They can keep that.
Maybe. We don't really know for sure.
personally, I'd like to check out where that dragon egg was supposed to be sent. And yeah, I do agree.
Fates.
We probably should try to deliver those sprigs.
Wait, so this dragon egg, yes, it's supposed in your whatever where you come from. It ended up disappearing, right? But in this mirror world, what you call it, you. By the way, you've got to explain that to me. Perhaps this dragon egg is still here, yeah?
Oh, probably about a year ago it hatched, and, not in this realm, per se, but on this island, the dragon that came from that egg is, well, I guess he owns the island now, is what I'm saying.
Have we checked the rest of the ship? Maybe it's still in there. Kevak's gonna take the sprigs and kind of bundle them up for safekeeping.
All right, and I also
Demiurge would like
gave
to
you
figure out what's
guys-
going on with the sickle.
Sure. First, I gave you guys permissions to look in the journal entry for the logbook, so you should be able to open it yourself. Also, Demi, the sickle. So you can. I want you to roll an Arcana check as you're looking at it.
Oh boy.
That's good enough. As you look at the sickle, you realize that it's made of silver, and you know that silver is particularly effective against werewolves and some demonic otherworldly creatures. It also is inscribed with a particular rune that is a ghost touch rune that allows it to effectively attack incorporeal creatures like ghosts and stuff like that.
Huh. Gotcha.
Other than that, it has what it's described.
This is a ghost world, right?
That's what
I
it seems
mean-
like.
Something like that?
Well, this is a ghost sickle. It can touch ghosts.
Sure.
I imagine
So
that
can
could
it-
be useful.
I think the enemies we just encountered were very tangible, though. But if we run into any ghosts, maybe?
The thing is, though, this is supposed to be delivered to somebody in Xeriacs, though.
You really think we can go back there?
Well, I'm sure we can.
Well, we have to get out of this plane of existence, and maybe this ghost sickle can have something to do with it.
That's the real question, isn't it?
Really?
Is how we managed to get out of here.
That's actually a very interesting point.
Well,
I'm not sure where
well,
else.
of course, we can leave anytime, but we will watch you struggle.
I'm going to just distribute the coins between everybody.
Sounds
I
good.
was about to suggest
Thank
that.
you.
I need to get rid of Tut from here.
I think the question is going to be how you two came to be here.
Right.
Might give us some clues on how to get back.
Well,
We are omnipresent. We have. We have always been here and in all other realms. Always, everywhere.
All right. What about you,
Properties
Vic?
left.
Great to hear it.
They told me to come to some kind of experiment, and maybe it failed, maybe it worked, but I ended up in here. I don't know how, to be honest, but it was a machine. The red just shrugs.
So, literally nothing useful for us getting out of here.
Unless we run across any strange machines.
Just build a machine again. Easy.
I'm afraid I'm not so good with these machines. I'm just good with my little smoking sticken. And he pats his wooden metal pipe lovingly.
Is anybody going to take the sickle out?
We're going to keep it in the chest and just
Nah.
stare at it longingly.
We're gonna at least take it with us for sure.
For now, I'm just going to put it in the party inventory.
Okay. Miklo will be the one to pick it up. That's fine.
I'll go ahead and take
He's not gonna
the
use it.
logbook. I don't know how to.
If you
Oh
wanna
wait,
use
I
it,
opened my thing.
If you
Huh?
want to use it, Miklo, you can take it.
Miklo
from
is like the
party
only
inventory.
marshal.
No, Miklo's not going to use it. At least
Technically, I'm a
as far as I
martial
know,
class
let me
too.
think. And again, if we do
Melee.
encounter ghosts, I suppose it would be helpful to have it on hand at least. Yeah, I'll take it with me and save it for emergencies. But I'll take it with me.
All right, just drag it up from party inventory to your inventory then. So, as you guys sort of wrap up taking all of the coinage and all of that from the chest, you get another good look through the ship, but the rest of it is destroyed. Strangely, you don't see the egg or any remnants of an egg there. It seems like whatever gems or other stuff that was mentioned in the logbook are also gone from here. So the only thing was the locked chest left behind. Perhaps too big for any pilferers to take.
Any kobolds to put aboard their ship, I guess.
Doesn't seem like it.
Hmm.
So, we need to figure out what our next steps are going to be then.
Oh, I do want to mention, Mr. Wick. You have been around the island a little bit longer, and you are aware that there is a settlement to the north.
Well, if you are looking for some company, there is some more people north of this place.
The last people we met here in this version were they didn't really seem all there.
Wait,
Well,
you
I can
saying
assure
you met real people on this side?
Yes, I did, and I can assure you they are all, in fact, in this settlement.
Whoa. We have to go there then.
Good a bet as any.
Well, it's not like walking across the ocean floor is gonna be easy. It's worth checking out, I say.
Alright, so do you guys start walking in that direction, intending your minds to go to the settlement that you all except the Demiurge know about? I'm assuming that's yes.
Oh, I thought you meant there was another settlement. Sorry, I
No,
got
no.
confused. The northwest one.
But the fact that we're being told that there's actually people there allegedly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Wick is saying it's to the north, and you guys have been there in the other version. You're all kind of
Yeah, I thought it was
combining your knowledge and saying, that's probably where it is. So you start heading that direction, and that same feeling starts to overtake all of you. That feeling where your mind skips a beat, where all of a sudden you're in this location deep in the jungle to the north, and it's sort of a familiar place. You see some paths that you saw before when you first got here a long time ago. Well, not really, it's been like a few days. So I'm going to move us back to the map. And you guys can kind of pinpoint your location again as being up near the settlements that you knew about before. But this time, things are a little bit different around here. It seems like the trees here are much thicker and much taller. And you see little lights actually stringing through the trees, like, Christmas lights, but a little bit more dense, like the whole light strip is a light. You see what looks to be tree houses in the trees.
Oh, that's so cool.
And these like a lot of glowing lights, almost like neon everywhere in different colors, lighting up lanterns and signs and stuff like that. And you also see intermingling among those trees, in those tree houses, are people with wings. They seem to be buzzing around, and a few, as you get closer to it, begin landing around you. These creatures look to be insectoid, but standing on two legs and only with two arms. They look to have these like fly-like wings, and I'm gonna show you. I think this should work. A little image of what I'm thinking. Sort of like these.
Oh, that's not what I had in mind.
Yes.
That is
Interesting.
spooky.
They all come to you with spears in hand, some with bows.
Are they like medium-sized or small?
They're medium-sized, yes.
Oh, so
Humanoid.
they tower over most of us.
Sort of with this like elven gaunt to their faces, but their ears are more like what you see in the image.
Like
And-
little moth feelers or whatever?
Yeah. And they are wrapped with these sort of like desiccated sort of leathers and hides. They look to be fairly formidable, as some of them are more chitinous than others. This example in front of you is the more humanoid version, and that is the person that steps forward to you as it points at you.
Vish,
Come again?
And he points over at something you didn't really see before. A two-wagon caravan, seemingly a lot more colorfully painted than anything around here. Seems very out of place. He keeps pointing in that direction.
We come to you in peace.
I don't
What-
think he understands us.
He waves his palm at you, like in a motion to say no, and then points again over at the caravan.
I think we
think-
should look at the.
I think we
We
should
should
go
look
over
at the
there.
caravan.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that then.
And he waves his guards away as you guys start heading towards this colorfully painted caravan, strangely out of place here. With that rude introduction, you are sort of curious about why there's even a caravan here next to this
Accurate.
settlement. But as you get closer to it, you realize that it's, well maintained. It seems like there's like these nice like caravan tents set up, one big one and one small one. And as you're heading into this place, there's a little like campfire set up. Looks like it's normal, and like it's more normal than anything you've seen in this place. And it seems real because you didn't see it there before. So somebody's come here from who knows where. And as you walk into the camp, what do? You don't hear anybody, you don't see anybody here.
Hello?
I'll keep looking around at least. Check around the tents.
And as you're looking around, you do see...
We are the Demiurge. We come in our evil conquest.
No, we're not evil. We're nice.
You look around and you're surprised that you don't see any horses or any sort of like animals for the carriages. like 2 of those carts and 2 of those tents, and even the tent seems a little bit bigger than anything that could be carried on the cart. But before long, as you're poking around, some of you calling out, you do see a figure. Actually, just a hand of a figure, looking to be blackened somehow. You don't get a good look as it just kind of beckons out from the big flap in the tent and just like beckons you inside.
I motion to
Without a
everybody
word.
else and head toward the tent.
This isn't ominous at all.
Nope, not worried at all, no.
This is all rather strange.
It's our best lead yet.
Right.
So as you all head inside, I'm going to move the map again. Actually, first, before I do that,
I like how Bert's Bits and Bobs is still just kind of there.
kind of hanging out.
You walk into a shop.
As you walk into a shop with nice melodious music in the background, fake lighting seems to make the impression that it is a real place in a real realm. And
I was joking.
as you
Yeah.
as you walk in through the flaps, you see before you standing a figure in robes and a hat. This figure is beaked. It has a long, like raven-like beak with black feathers. Its hands and feet are talons, and it looks to be strangely a little bit charred in the feathers. Rather than that slick, feathery texture you would normally see on ravens, all of his feathers look charred, and even on the ends of the feathers, there's a little bit of embers just lightly fluttering off of them. And as they look up to you, and you look back at their eyes, you see that their orbs of eyes look like there's flames inside of the glass of their eyes, sort of like behind the eyes, in a sense. Just barely, licking every once in a while. And I'm going to give you a little picture of them.
Oh.
Welcome to my shop.
Hi.
Hello there.
Guten Tag.
Finally, somebody who speaks normally.
Interesting.
What are you doing with a shop in a place like this?
What do you mean? This is the best place to find anything good.
I'm sorry, I
Not a
spoke
prime-
incorrectly. I am Miklo. Hello.
Ah, yes, of course. I am Thay. I am a, traveling salesman of sorts.
Can't imagine you get many customers out here, though.
Well, this is more of a supply run, where I'm buying things from others, but I always keep my shop open just in case nice fellows like yourself come along and have money to spend.
This is all really unexpected.
Please, have a look around and ask me
that's a lot
any
of stuff.
daring questions you have. I'm sure you have many.
Well, mein Herr, I do have a question, and that is, you seem to be a bit on fire.
Oh, that. Well, that's just part of my heritage. I was born under auspicious stars to strange parents, and I have a bit of that fire in me.
I see.
And anybody who wants to can roll a society check to kind of like pinpoint who or what this creature is.
Okay.
I'll definitely give that a try.
Well, I'm very familiar with the feeling of being on fire, so do not worry.
Miklo. It's actually pretty difficult. It's a question that's not really answered that much, but you did see or read a book every so often about the Tengu. They're raven-like creatures that hail from a place far to the west. And an unknown land, but seemingly this one's right in front of you. And even further, their heritage, as he mentions, is something that's rarely seen in people. Sometimes people are bound to an elemental archetype, something that's a remnant of the Seeker's power. This one seems to be an Ifrit, one who has been infused or born with some of the powers of fire, already innately a part of them. So this is an Ifrit Tengu.
You're a Tengu, aren't you?
Ah,
I
very
feel-
studious of you.
Yeah. And I feel like I've heard of it before. People with heritage that are somewhat elemental in nature? Okay, Ifrit. Sort of like that.
Very, very good. You seem to have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, anyone could have told you that.
I don't really have a whole lot of knowledge. I've read what I could in the temples, but that's about it. I've never really left my city until now.
Ah, I see. I've been to many places, though, surprisingly, as you might surmise, not many places on the material realm. The original realm, that is.
What do you mean by original realm?
Well, the one that the Seekers found. The first one. From there, they built everything else. I guess the one you would call your home. And mine, but that's before many of your times.
Get back
Right.
to it. By
Uh,
chance?
I cannot. I am, shall we say, bound by contract to do my work outside of that realm, and I would not want to go back even if I tried. I don't have many friends there.
Hmm.
And then what is this realm?
This is one of the mirror realms. There are two of them. This one is the shadow plane, the darker reflection. If you ever look into a black mirror, this is what you see. It is a place of reflections of the darker side of humanity or humanoids, and it is where the darker egos go to die.
How do we get home?
Of course, I knew that. We knew that.
Well,
This is where we
getting home
belong.
is that's quite a conundrum. I do have some spells or rituals that might help you. It can't get you directly there, but it can help you if you find the right, shall we say, locations. But they come at a cost.
That would be useful.
A cost?
Yes, these rituals, not a cost in gold either. As you can look around, you see everything tagged in gold, and I will take gold, as gold is a very universal currency. But the most universal currency is information. And I will provide you the knowledge I have about these rituals if you provide me the knowledge of your journeys, which should be very curious, as you seem to be anomalies in this place.
Well,
Well,
I personally would be happy to
kind of right there.
talk about that.
So, where does your story begin?
Mine begins in the city of Suravak.
No, that's boring. I'm talking about the story of you as a group, of you as a whole. You seem to be well-traveled, you seem to know each other a lot. Adventurous.
Well, our journey as a group started in Suravak.
Ah,
Well, it kind of started when they found me in a basement. Well,
In
under a
Suravak.
fishery in Suravak. I was kind of locked up in a cage. I was... Man, it sounds so stupid now that I say it, like, months after it happening, but I was chasing a rumor to find a dragon. The rumors did not specify the color of dragon, and when I tried to investigate, a bunch of other kobolds did not take my, peeping very kindly, and so they
certainly,
locked me up.
certainly. And he starts summoning up like a little, like an animated ink and quill that starts writing as he puts a hand on his beak, like under it as he keeps listening. Go on, go on.
I actually have I'm still not quite sure how long I was down there. It was a while. It was either like 2 weeks or a month.
Those are trifling details. What happened next?
Gadget, I found you, along with some friends of ours.
Yeah, you
I-
just barreled in.
That we did. We ran into some kobolds under the fishery, along with their draconic master, and they just so happened to be vestiges from the shipwreck, not too far south of here.
Oh, shipwreck. Oh, what was the name of this shipwreck?
The tapestry.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And what did you do about the dragon?
Oh, well, if you want to find out that, I think we could stand to learn a few things about how to start that ritual. Maybe the
Yes, yes,
first
yes.
2 steps.
I will give you the information you seek after you give me the information that I seek.
So, our group faced off against the dragon, and we confronted him in his lair. And we got kind of scared and got intimidated by him into not hurting him. And can somebody else explain this part? I guess Gadget or Vallo, one of you.
Well, we were kind of beat up by the fight, and we did not want to fight the dragon. He's still young. He was about the size of a cow.
Yeah, we can say that now. He's not here.
It's still funny though. We'll get to how that's funny later.
He was just a cow.
He was as big as a cow.
If he was that much of an issue, you should take me. You should take us to him. We'll destroy him instantly.
Anyway,
We didn't want to fight him. We weren't confident we'd kill him, and we were hoping for a more diplomatic solution, which we kind of got, but it was rough.
Sure. So what did you do?
We managed to convince this dragon, which we later learned was named Xeriacs, that it was not wise for him to keep growing in a cellar in the city.
a green dragon.
Okay. Green dragons can be reasoned with. Okay, go on.
He gave us 3 days' time to find him a way out of the city. And, well, what was going on in the city was being sieged by a bunch of gnolls.
Oh, those are
Nasty.
mundane matters of the material realm. I don't care about
Well,
those.
it's related. They were using some kind of ritual to cause a storm over Suravec, and that prevented any seafaring travel, and their siege on the city prevented any travel outside the gate.
Yeah, it was this wild magical arcane ritual with this rod.
I'd say
On
more
the
of a
bluff.
cult ritual, but
Interesting. So I assume you stopped that ritual and,
We did, but we ran into this guy here first, Kevak.
Kevak raises his hand meekly.
fascinating.
And he helped
What
us
did
get
you-
in and out.
What did you do with the dragon after you stopped the storm?
We put a hat on the dragon to make him look like a cow.
Was the dragon not prideful, arrogant, unhappy with this treatment?
Oh, he was actually pretty angry about this.
Where did you take him?
We took him onto a boat without telling the captain that it was a dragon on the boat. We made the captain think he was a cow. But we took the boat across, and we were going to this island that we had heard there was treasure. Maybe we could dump off the dragon here, along with its kobolds, and
This very island.
this very island, except not this island, but the one in.
The real island. The
yeah.
material island.
Yes. But the captain found out, and he got mad, and he forced all of us onto a boat. And so we ended up on the island with the dragon, his 3 kobolds, and before long found a village in roughly this spot that does not look like this one at all.
Yes, that's usually what happens with the mirror. Some things change, some things stay the same. It depends on what influences are here and influences are there. Now, what happened on the island? What made you come to this place on this island?
The Locust.
What sort of creature is that?
I
think he was a demon. We're
Could
still
you
not
describe
sure.
it to me?
He was a shadowy figure who, he actually got me once. He wasn't too strong in combat, so he used a lot of mental manipulation. He went into people's minds and whispered pleasant things to them to, well, kind of persuade their
Well,
actions.
that's pathetic. You should have just gone minions.
No,
I'm
that
kind-
is a. Oh, I know those creatures. That is an Invidiac.
Okay, yeah.
There's more than one.
Oh, there are many of them.
Oh, that's really unfortunate to hear.
They are
But I figure
creations.
most of them aren't our problem.
Creations of the Third.
Oh,
They're usually served in spying operations.
Wait, hold on. What are these
Manipulation.
hand wraps?
Oh, those are. They'll enhance your unarmed attacks.
Oh, yes, please.
beautiful.
Nevertheless, you encountered an Invidiac. How did you defeat it?
Well, the dragon helped a lot with that.
But not entirely.
Did it not use its abilities?
It tried. We think it actually tried to take over the dragon somehow, but failed.
It completely failed in its possession.
Yeah. So it's like it backfired somehow, and I think he was hurt in some way.
This is some new information. I didn't know they could fail completely. Good. Now, what? You destroyed it? You just obliterated it using magic or something?
A combination of our weapons and magic. It was the lightning bolt that did the final blow. But he had captured one of the 3 kobolds that had come with us, and he was going to try to do some kind of ritual, turn him into some sort of little shadow drake type thing.
Interesting.
We stopped that.
One exhibiting individuality. Okay.
There
Invidiacs are
was-
usually servants, but this one seemed to be a master. Interesting. Did it have any attempts at possessing you all after it failed its first?
I
Don't believe so.
don't think so. I'm not sure if it was able to.
I had information that they are vulnerable after they have failed to possess, but I didn't realize that it would fail so poorly. Interesting.
We may have gotten very lucky,
I
and so we
imagine you
took the
did.
opportunity.
And then what? How did you get here?
He had converted some sort of an obelisk that was ferrying the souls of the dead, we believe. Converted it to be absorbing these souls to try to expend them to open a portal, I guess, to this realm.
I see.
Well, Gadget managed to fix the obelisk, freed the souls that were in there, and one of them, a dwarf, ended up inhabiting his knife for a short time, and he helped us open the portal so that we could escape through it and leave the island, because we couldn't figure out any other way to leave the island safely.
It's quite an interesting way to form a portal. Interesting. You came through this portal.
We did, and then it closed behind us. 2 of our friends stayed behind, and then we met 2 more on the way.
I see. Did you encounter anything here interesting?
Those, people outside are interesting.
Oh yes, those are the
They
Xeriacs.
encountered us, and we are very interesting.
Those are the Xeriacs. They are actually natives to this area, this plane actually.
I could not tell if they welcomed us or were uncomfortable with us.
They could not speak to you, I imagine,
No,
as they have their own language. They weave light. They are quite curious in a place of such shadow, but it seems to be a good way for them to survive. Anyway, they are sort of humanoid creatures. They exhibit qualities of insects. They live in the trees, and it's fairly friendly. I do trade with them. I come here to acquire some of their light weaving, and it's very uncommon to find any very good light weaving, and I can get it here. So I've come.
So once they understand that you're not a threat, they're generally peaceful.
Generally, yes. Though you have to communicate with them first.
That's
I do
right.
have a scroll or I think a wand of comprehending languages.
Yeah, I've been looking at that this whole time, thinking about the people outside we can't talk to, and I was gonna, at the next break in conversation, huddle the group up.
Interesting. Well, I think that information is actually very useful to my cause. I will grant you some information about these rituals, and so for your guys' sake, I'm going to reveal the final little merchant icon. And in here, you
Oh.
should be able to open up these scrolls and see the actual rituals. So rituals in Pathfinder 2nd Edition are kind of like they were in 1st, except you have to learn these individually. You don't
Whoa.
learn them as spells, they're just rituals, and they're just, rituals. I do have some information about these rituals that you won't find anywhere else. I, well, have my means of gathering information, as you quite have imagined. And if you are curious about these rituals that I present before you, please let me know. There are some that, well, can allow you to summon up some of these creatures, like an Invidiac, to help you out. I find them quite useful. For those of you seeker inclined, there is one to consecrate the ground. Another, for those arcane, wanting minions, there are some that allow you to animate objects. Another, of course, can allow you to create undead as servants. Quite useful, fun. I've tried it out a few times. But third, I think most useful to your situation is awakening portals. Now, there may be a lot of portal, like remnants around circles that people have carved, more powerful than you, but they are dormant. This ritual allows you to awaken those portals and allow you to perhaps go to wherever they are deemed to be connected to. Quite useful for your situation. But I would not forget the ritual of geese, which allows you to influence minds and let them be
Yes?
forced to do your bidding. Gias, whatever it is.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I doubt
But-
any of us are interested in that one.
If you are a little worried about your own well-being, the ritual of reincarnation will allow you to come back from the dead.
Oh, back from the dead?
Precisely. Now, here's the deal. You see that these rituals are marked with levels to them. I will give you rituals in a total level of 6. So that means you can take 2 level 3s, or a level 3 and a level 2 and a level 1. You know how it works.
6
So
level
speak with
1s.
yourselves what you would
Okay.
like.
Well, I think it goes without saying that we'll need that portal scroll. Even if it looks
We don't need that last
a
one.
little advanced.
That does
We don't
sound
need that
useful.
last one. We can just
We-
animate your corpses.
We need that portal. Awaken portal.
Okay.
I agree.
Agreed entirely.
I would like that animate objects, but if you all have any other suggestions, I'd be open to hear it.
Well, I certainly like the idea of a consecration ritual.
Psha, what's the point of making minions if they aren't expendable?
The thought of being able to bring somebody back from the dead is incredible.
Certainly something beyond our capabilities at the moment.
And it will be for quite some time. The powers
Only
of
work
resurrection.
once.
No, if you read into it, and I'm not sure why it doesn't tell you the cost. So each of these rituals does have cost. The reincarnate is 25 GP in rare herbs times the level of the creature. So a level 4 would be 100 gold to reincarnate, which is actually
Ah.
not that bad. Some of these other ones, I think Awakened Portal actually maybe has a little bit of a cost to it as well. They generally do all have costs.
Oh, I see. Yeah, if you open the spell, it will show the gold cost.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Gadget, you're good with like runes and whatnot, right?
A little bit.
You look over and you see Vallo trying to like put this little green rune like onto this cloth, or trying to wrap the cloth around the rune. Like, I don't know how this works.
Actually, surprisingly, sorry to interact, but the portal, Awakened Portal, does not have any cost at all. It just requires you to be successful in your checks.
Oh, huh. Nice.
The resurrection scroll ritual would also probably be significantly useful.
That's
Oh
true.
god, if we critically fail on the portal and we just we're awakening someone's like really powerful portal, we could end up like really fucking ourselves up. Are you seeing this
Yeah.
list of enemies?
It's fine.
Excuse me? Like,
Why
what
would you
list?
need the reincarnation spell? We can bring you back to life ourselves.
Nobody wants to
Can
be a
reanimate
walking
you?
corpse.
Reincarnation and resurrection
Demiurge just grumbles.
Reincarnation and by extension resurrection are very difficult spells to cast on their own, though this ritual it comes to you a little bit earlier in your studies. Maybe the only chance you get.
It might be. I personally say that we should choose that one.
Suppose it's worth having a contingency plan.
We'll have to be on the lookout for rare herbs.
Aye.
Can I afford a striking rune instead of a weapon potency?
Also, guys, make sure, and since there are a lot of things, there are a lot of nice things here. Some of them are a little bit outside of some of your pay grades, but if you coordinate, you may be able to get some of them.
Right.
I want to get this striking rune, so I can like put it on my band.
Because like holding a pair of goggles in his hands. In this case, the alchemist's goggles. Fella, I would like this, but it's a bit more than I can afford.
That's too bad.
Hey, do you happen to have any formulas on hand?
Of course. I have many, many, many formulas. Anything you could probably require, I have. I deal in information, so information I have. So basically, any formula you could want for a common item, you can get. And maybe even uncommon.
Definitely gonna want a level 1 wand formula.
Okay. We can work on some of the details of purchasing over the week.
Okay.
But I have many things to sell, but I never change my prices. I'm sorry to say.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it takes to make a magic item, and I wouldn't want to cheat you out of whatever it takes to make them or acquire them.
Well, gold is not my primary currency. It is information.
Miklo appears to be eyeing up armor in utter fascination.
I can't afford the striking rune. A terrible day this is.
Oh, it has its own little message for it when you don't have enough. That's cute.
Wait, what does it say?
Vallo reaches for their coins but comes up short. Cause he's short.
We're all short, except for Kevak.
Oh, and one other service I can allow you for is the service of rune inscription and transference. If you have anything that is
that'd be
runed,
nice.
you can transfer that rune onto anything else you want.
Do we have any runes? Like, I know I don't have any on me.
Some of you have weapons with runes in them, such as the silver sickle.
Indeed.
Nevertheless, oh, go ahead.
my hair, I have a question. This section called talismans. How exactly do these things work?
Ah, yes, those, they are attached to your gear, and they are activated with just a thought, though they are consumed upon use. That is why they are so cheap.
Ah, I see.
What rune is on the moon on that sickle? Do we know?
It
Ghost
has,
Bane or something?
it has Ghost Touch, yeah.
Ah,
I think it's also +1, or should be.
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So +1
Can you take the
means it's a
silver
magic
off?
bonus. Uh, for this purpose, that sickle is just made of silver. So if you take the silver off, it's just a handle.
Tarlock's handle.
hey, do you guys mind if I take a bit of gold from the party inventory to buy this striking rune?
I don't object.
Don't mind, but I will
Aren't those
say
offerings for me, for us?
No.
you can go ahead, but I also want to point out that it would be in our best interest to pull together for this. I can't
I
make
only
it
need like
show
4
up in the
gold.
inventory.
I didn't
What
need
is it?
terribly much.
I can.
The wand of comprehend language. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
wanting to make it show up in the chat.
Yes.
This is priced at 160.
If you would like, I can teach you the spell, and you don't need to buy the wand.
How much for that?
Spells come at a cost of the scrolls cost.
The scrolls cost?
Exactly. So 12 gold.
Oh my god! Of course.
You'll
I'm
of
sorry.
course.
Oh, that would be more expedient. Yes.
Excellent. You can take the scroll and learn it on your own time. Though keep in mind that you do have to spend your valuable spell's power to cast the spell, and if you have the wand does the work for you. Just keep it in
Right.
mind.
I understand. Gotta upsell us.
Do you mind helping me with this rune?
Certainly.
Do you mind if I can't even interact with the platinum pieces that I. Oh wait, no, sorry. I want to convert this platinum to gold.
Let me
I'm
see.
just gonna go ahead and take away 8 platinum.
1 platinum is 10 gold, right?
I know. Yeah.
So you can just put 80 gold in.
Cool, it's the same conversions, and I haven't been doing everything wrong.
Well, if we have some money to spare, I could probably
And now
use
I
it
have
for these
to.
goggles, and I would be a lot more secure when I brew us up some potions and the like.
And for that as well, I will give you the +1 attack rolls with bombs on your alchemical discharge thing.
Oh, goody.
Because it says attack rolls with bombs, you're using a bomb, I'm going to say it works.
Fair enough.
So I'm
So,
sorry.
may I take a bit of gold out of these inventories that you are sharing?
I trust him.
Excuse me,
He does have
sir.
our permission.
Yes.
I found armor that fits me. Do you accept trade-ins?
Not exactly if it's just armor you've worn. It looks a bit all patched together. I see you've repaired it yourself.
Yeah.
How much is it? If it's a trifle, I will take it off your hands. Might be useful for scrap.
Uh,
What are you wearing right now?
it was a scale mail.
I'll take it off for 4 gold. Just put full gold on your inventory and delete
All
it.
right. Thank you.
What
I have
does...
to-
And I'll be taking this plate armor. This is wonderful. It moves so well. And I'm paid for it, yeah.
Nice.
I'm just looking through the spell list, determining what all I want to maybe try and add to my
I do
list
have
here.
every common spell imaginable, though ones that are a little bit more rare, harder to find. So if you just need, I have a spellbook on hand, and you can copy from it for the price of the scroll. Now, as you're perusing things, I will be working. If you need any help, just ask me, and I bid you good shopping.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
for now, I think that's where we'll end the session. The shop will be open across the weekend until I start my other game on Monday, which
Beautiful.
which then shuts down this server, so you guys can't get on. So over the weekend, it'll be up. You guys can shop at your leisure.
Cool. I'll try to remember to do that.
I'm out of money.
And we can, of course, feel free to discuss money issues and trading, etc. on the Discord.
Oh yeah, I realize now what the potency and striking runes do, the difference. Striking increases damage die, and potency increases the attack roll.
Mhm.
Is that right? That's right.
I think it's reversed. Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, potency is +1 to the weapon. Striking is increases the damage die by 1.
I got the striking, which is gonna be 2d4 plus 1d6 now. That's awesome.
Nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed today's session.
Always.
I did,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I enjoyed meeting our
sure.
new friends
No, no, sorry.
a lot.
Man, yeah.
They're wonderful.
Hope he doesn't. Hope they don't get to grading.
No, in character doesn't necessarily reflect how I feel about the character out of character. Out of character, I think
I
they're very
figured.
fun and I enjoy them.
Anyways, I think now's a good time to stop the recording and whatnot, and the stream. See you
Sure
guys.
thing. Thank you guys
Bye,
for watching.
everybody.
Take
Good
care,
night.
everyone.